The moment we
Yeah.
started, like, bam, I'm getting
Yeah.
calls. I'm getting calls because I'm working with the stuff that I have. I'm not a luxury guy. So, man, so you were saying, man, for your line of work when it came to pandemic, like, did it really affect you guys? Because you said you and your wife were working from home and stuff like this. So how was it,
Yeah.
man? Was it hard? Did you guys were like having that anxiety and stuff like this?
Initially, no, because so when we started working at home, it was cool because you could spend your whole day at home, and you can. We kind of got into a point where we would wake up like maybe 15 or 20 minutes before work actually started. Our
Mm-hmm.
laptops are just there, and you go and just switch everything on, and boom, you're there.
Mm-hmm.
And usually in the morning, for the first, at least for the first hour, usually it's not so busy, so you don't get a lot of calls, not a lot of emails. So we'd sit, watch our TV, sitcoms, have breakfast, have like really really good breakfast at home. And this is the thing, we started cooking a lot at home.
Nah, nice.
And I never knew how to cook shit in my life. I still don't, but I learned something. So yeah, at least something good came out of it. For our industry, yeah, I mean, we were affected like anybody else. Like I said, we are, my company is linked to the construction industry. So of
Mm-hmm.
course we were affected. We still are. We're still feeling the after effects, but I think things are getting better. Everything's opened up now. Um, my wife, though, it was a bit more difficult for her company because they're in events.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, there's no events, there's no live shows, no exhibitions, conferences, no public
Mm-hmm.
gathering stuff. So and so anxiety in that sense, yes. We were kind of afraid for some time that okay, shit, maybe we might not have jobs in the next few weeks. But yeah, but I think now things are okay. Things are getting back on track. So that's the good news.
Yeah, man. And we got the guys in the house. We got Ashish in the house saying, "Hey," he's like, "Hey, what's up, Ahmed and Vivian? What's up, Ashish, man? Great stuff, man. Metal Monk, it's amazing." And when it like,
Yo,
and Vinit is in the house. Is saying, "What's up? What's happening, home dog? What's up, Vinit, man? Thank you very much for being there, man. I forgot to mention this. I mean, this how stupid I am sometimes when I'm like, I'm very excited for the episode because there's a lot to talk. So I forgot to mention this show is about me and my guests sharing the same interest on the same topic, and we talk about it on a over a cup of tea. And just share the love with us. Share this video with your friends. Let them know about the page. Let's get more traffic into this page, and let's create a bigger community for ourselves. So thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. And Ashish, great stuff. Vinny, thank you very much. And whoever is watching, please share this video with your friends and your family. Tell your mama, tell your daddy about the page. So, Vivian,
I'm gonna share it now. Hold on, let me do it right now.
man, these are the things that happen, while stream. I was not, that was a first for me. I mean, some stuff happened to me
Yeah,
in some episodes. It's just, it gives you that first hand experience that, next time you know how to, adjust and move
yeah,
on immediately. So it's good, man. It's
right.
good. So, man,
Yeah, I mean, you learn from your mistakes, and you have to make mistakes. It's normal to do it.
yeah, man.
That's the journey. That's what the journey is all about.
Exact. And you know what, guys? Whoever is still watching, if you guys have any questions for Vivian Dsouza over here, which most of you guys know him, he's a chill dude. He likes to answer questions. He likes the spotlight. So look at him. He's shining and stuff. Look.
I've been told I like to speak, and I like to. No, I've been told that I say too much sometimes.
Dude, this
Sometimes I should
show.
just shut up.
No, this show is about the guests to talk. It's your comfort. It's a conversation. We're sharing information. I'm learning stuff from you. It's just back and forth. So feel free, just blabber as much as you want. And Vinita saying, as long as you took care of it.
As long as you took care of it, I will take care, Baba. I will take care.
Such an inside joke, man. Anyway, dude. So, man, tell us about the EP, man. Tell us what was. You know what? Okay, let's just kick it back a bit, man. How was this whole journey for you and your own backbone story? Like how you got into music. What was the first instrument you had? Stuff like this. Give us a
Yeah.
rundown about yourself, man.
So, funny enough, the first instrument I actually started playing was the piano. I wasn't
I
always a guitarist.
I've mentioned it here. Originally, a pianist.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. So it was piano. I was first introduced to music, not how musicians generally are. No one gave me a record of a famous rock band, and it wasn't like that. It was, I mean, I grew up in an Indian household, so my mom and dad were like, okay, it's time for you to pick a hobby. What do you want to do? Do you want to sing or do you want to play an instrument? I'm like, I can't sing. I don't like my voice. I'm gonna play an instrument. So then,
They gave you that option to go, like they told you need to be a musician?
no, well, so my dad always loved to. My dad wanted to be a musician. It was his dream to always like play a piano or play some kind of instrument, and he couldn't do that throughout his whole life. So he thought, okay, the best way for him to live out that dream was for me to do it. So then he signed me up for music lessons, and it started with piano and the keyboard both. And funny enough, I started when I was 8, and I formally studied music theory.
Okay,
And
so you studied the boring stuff.
the boring stuff, yeah, which helps me now. But
Mhm.
I had to learn that I didn't understand anything. Um, I did it from, I think you must have heard of it, the Trinity College of Music. Yeah, so I did, what was it, 5 grades of musical theory and practical music, all based on piano. So that was right up till I was 16, and then once you're 16, you're a teenager, and you want to do something more. And I had this urge to. I found piano very boring. Let's put it this way: keyboards wasn't really my thing. I liked it. I was good at playing it, but I wanted something more.
Guess what
And
Ashish is saying?
what's he saying?
He's saying originally a pianist, where's the on front button?
Oh shit.
So yeah, man. So you didn't like the. I mean, it's not like you found out that
No,
piano is not your thing.
piano wasn't my thing. It wasn't really what I wanted to do. Okay. Um, so right about the time I was in, I think it was grade 11 or 16 or whatever, I started exploring new music, because I think this is when YouTube became a thing. It's when it started coming up back in, was it 2006,
Yeah,
2007,
it was
or earlier
borderline,
than that? Yeah,
borderline
it
that
was
time. Yeah.
it just started getting famous and shit. So I was like, okay, you know what? Let me go on there and see what I can find. Um, at that time, what was going on that time? You had Sum 41,
Avril
the whole
Lavigne.
new Avril Lavigne, Britney Spears, and all this shit playing on, and I didn't really know where to start looking for stuff. Funny enough, one day I was on MTV, and
You were in MTV, as in like.
no, I was watching MTV at home,
Okay.
and System of a Down started playing. This is when they just released the Hypnotize album.
That was 2005.
2000. Oh, sorry, that was 2005. Yeah. So this
Mm.
is when I first like I got into this, and so Hypnotize was the first actual rock song that I heard, and I was like, man, this is like some weird, powerful shit. Like it's not something like I've ever heard before, and I was like, okay, now I'm hooked. Then I go on YouTube and I on the internet started researching these guys and like who they are. Then I started backtracking. Then I started listening to Mesmerize and then Toxicity and all the other stuff. And then from there got into Linkin Park, Limp Bizkit.
How come? How come? Don't lie about
Yeah,
Limp Bizkit.
I know. I give a lot of shit about Limp Bizkit now, but I used to actually be into them at one point of time. That's how I got introduced to like rock music, like heavy music. That was the first the first one. And when I saw all this, I was like, you know what? I want to be able to play this stuff too. I'm a musician. I can play the piano. I couldn't play all this stuff on the piano, of course. I told my dad, I'm like, you know what? I just want to buy a guitar. He's like, no, first you have to go for lessons. I said, okay, fine. I went for guitar lessons, got my first acoustic guitar, which I still have. It's still in my parents' place. And it was just so boring. It was so slow learning how to play the guitar from another teacher.
Mm-hmm.
because they teach you like all these chromatic stuff where you have to hit like one string at a time, and it's super boring. And I'm like, no, I want to learn faster. I'm really hungry. Like, teach me a song, teach me some chords, teach me some power chords. Like, show me a solo. I want to play a solo and all this shit.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go on YouTube. I'm just gonna go on this journey and start discovering music and try to learn shit on my own and start playing by ear. Uh, and then, funny enough, I found what was it, Guitar Pro.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah,
old
that was
school.
like it's I think every guitarist bread and butter back in the day, or even now for some for some.
Yeah, Vinit can give us
Vineet
insights.
can actually, yeah, Vineet's the only guy I know who can transcribe an entire song, a progressive metal song on Guitar Pro, even write music on Guitar Pro. I never learned how to do that. Like, that
Mm,
was
that's why
despite
it's
learning,
that's why it's
despite learning
Vinit.
musical theory.
That's why
That's why
it's
it's Vineet,
Vinit. Yeah.
exactly. So we have another inside joke, and I think you know this because you were in Portable.
Mm.
We always say that Vineet's the most talented musician in the whole band combined. Because he plays bass for Portable, but
Mm.
he's such a kick-ass guitarist, man.
Which
He plays drum.
he started
He
with
started.
guitars.
He
He is a
started with guitars,
guitarist.
yeah. He's a guitarist, and I don't know why he plays bass for. I should be playing bass, and he should be playing guitar. I'm sure he
Man,
would
shout
write
out
much better music than I.
shout out to Cosmic Toads, man. Cosmic Toads, great
Yeah,
stuff, man. Great stuff. Crazy stuff, man.
that's some next universe shit, dude.
So, man, so you went to the guy who was teaching you theory and you got bored out and
No,
then
I left that guy. I
so
left the
yeah.
guy, and I was like, man, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, so you left the guy and how okay, what was that drive for you that you was like, okay, you know what? Okay, let's take it this way. When was the first band you joined? Like the first jam? Do you remember your first jam ever?
Wow.
Like how bad you were or like what was the chemistry? How was it? If you can recall it,
Wow. Fuck, man. I have to really go back. So I had a band in school.
Mhm.
Um, it wasn't. We didn't even have a name. It was just three of us. We didn't have a bass player. It was a guitar player. It was me and another drummer who was like 4 years younger to us.
Okay.
And so back in our school, we had this. So every year you have the Teachers' Day thing in
Mm-hmm.
school, and they put up like a show. You have comedy skits, you have a play, and all that stuff. And they had a slot for a band or a music act.
Mm-hmm.
And I told my friend, his name was Jaydeep. Um, I'm like, dude, let's do something. So we started jamming at his place, just me and him. Um, we were playing stuff like 3 Days Grace.
Oh,
Um,
okay. That's nice.
yeah, Marilyn Manson, on the lines of this
Mm. Like
this
whatever was
stuff.
mainstream back in the day, it's
Whatever
like
was
yeah.
mainstream back in the day,
Mm.
exactly. Um, so this guy had like a Dean Razorback guitar. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. It's
Yeah.
the one that Dimebag uses. Okay, so he bought this one,
Mm.
this guitar, and it was fucking sick, man. Like, it looked like it just came out of hell. Um,
You talk about the Razorback. I remember.
the Razorback,
Yeah,
yeah, the
Salman got
Razorback.
it.
That's it.
Salman got it for like almost
Yeah,
5Ks, man.
yeah, that shit was expensive, and
Mm.
I'm talking in 2006 money.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was really expensive. Whatever. I mean, he got it, and I got myself. Okay, wait. I'm going a bit too early. Uh, I'm a bit early in the timeline. Okay. Anyways, so I got myself a BC Rich Warlock,
Okay.
the one that Kerry King used. So, which takes me back to the story that I was a huge Slayer fan
Oh, yes.
when I when I
Slayer is
when I was
fucking
16.
awesome, man.
Like, big ass. I still am a Slayer fan. I love their music.
Yep.
Music for most people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw Kerry King, and I was like, man, that guitar looks sick, and like with all the tribal art and all that, and the killer headstock. I was like,
Mm.
man, I have to have this. And the only place I knew that sells this guitar was Mozart. I'm not sure. I think yeah, you know of it. You know
Who
about
was
it.
the guy's name that the guy with a lot of rings and stuff? That
Yeah,
Indian
I
guy?
remember him, the Indian guy. I don't know. I think his name was Anthony or Freddie or something like this. I can't remember.
I've no, it's something
But
Wilfred. What something?
Wilfred, yeah, it must be Wilfred. Yeah,
Wilfred something like with a W.
I'm bad with names. Yeah, and they were the only guys selling BC Rich
Mm.
guitars back then. And I got your typical BC Rich starter pack with a
Yep.
tiny little 5-watt amp and like picks that and guitar picks that looked like skulls.
Yep. I remember
You know,
that. I
like
remember that. Yeah.
yeah, that was your Slayer starter pack. So
And
and
guess
then we
what?
were
I guess Gorgon is saying, yeah, what was your first band? He's still like they really want to know what was your first band's name or something, you know?
my first band. I can't remember. We didn't have a name. It was just a band. We were just a band. We never had a name back in school.
Mm.
Um,
So how was the show? Did you guys nailed it or would you guys fuck up and stuff like this?
well, I thought we nailed it. Um, but you have to understand this. I was in an Indian school.
Mm.
Okay, the whole concept of rock music in an Indian school doesn't really make sense. Okay, so no one
Okay.
understood. Okay, so everyone ended up making fun of us
Mm-hmm.
from the words of the song because they were singing and stuff. And the song, I remember the song that we sang. It was called "Pain" by 3 Days Grace.
Mm-hmm. I know that song. Yep.
Remember? Yeah. So everyone started calling us Pain,
Pain.
and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Is it pain to listen to you guys?
Yeah, I think that's what they meant. It was pain to listen to this abomination.
So you know what?
Um,
So you know what? Okay, let's take it this way. So the time that you got introduced to the music scene like here in Dubai,
yeah.
how was your early days? How was your journey from that time? Like who was the guys
So
that you met? Who were the connections that you got in touch with, and how was the vibe from the first day onwards until now?
right. So I got into the music scene somewhere around 2015. I think it
Mm-hmm.
was the beginning of 2015. This is when I got into the scene. I was on a break from music and from playing guitar for I think about 4 years
Mm-hmm.
from the time I graduated uni until sorry no from when my last years of uni until I started and then I started working. I got a full-time job and I got super busy with that and getting used to adult life. So in 2015, a friend of mine contacted me. His name is who was it? Yeah, it was Ridge. Okay,
Rich
I'm not
Pereira.
sure if Ridge Pereira. Yes.
Yep, I know that
So
guy.
yeah, I knew him from a bit back in the day, and we used to play at open mic nights.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even remember what these open nights called. It escapes me completely. But that's how he knows me, and he's seen me play before. So he just gave me a call, and he's like, "Hey, we have a gig coming up at the music room."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Okay, tell me more." Um, and I'm putting together a band. I need a guitar player, and
Mm-hmm.
I've seen you play guitar before, and a friend recommended you to come and play. And I was like, okay, like I've never played. I have not played in a long time. I've been on a break from music, but yeah, sure, let's give it a try. Why not? And we all got together. We met at Classic Rock Cafe, which
The
doesn't exist anymore.
mm-hmm.
The one in
Wafi Health.
Dubai Healthcare,
Yeah, Dubai.
Wafi
Yeah,
Healthcare,
yeah.
Dubai Healthcare City. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we met up over there, and then it was me, Ridge, Joshua Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
There was Don. You know Don.
Yeah, Don. Yeah, I know. Adi
Uh,
Karam.
uh, Don Adikaram.
Yeah.
And Don and me were in the band in uni, by the way. That's another fun story I have to tell you about. Uh, and who else was there? Yeah, there was a guy called Sujit who was the bass player.
Mm-hmm.
So then we got together, and so there was a show being organized in the music room by Musicians United, which was run by Vinesh.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
From
Yeah.
Wind Sinners at this time. And we were supposed to be the opening act
Mm-hmm.
for another I think it was his band. I'm not sure if I think it was for Wind Sinners. And uh, yeah, I mean, we're a new band, five guys who don't know each other. So like, we don't have original music. Let's just pick a bunch of covers and let's play.
So
And where do we jam?
this was the early days of Discord.
This was the early days of Discord, exactly, and this is how we came up with the name at the end. I can't remember the whole process behind it, but yeah, the band was called Discord because everything was Discord.
Yeah.
It was a mess in the end, but anyway, we had a good first show, man. We used to jam at Classic Rock Cafe twice a week. Because in the evening times it was quite empty. So we would go there and we would of course buy a coffee, have a dinner over there, and we had kind of like a deal with the guy that he would let us jam. So, given that we spend like a minimum of 100, 200 dirhams, which was fair enough. You get food plus you get coffee and you get a place to jam, so why not? So we did that, and then we played the first show at the music room. And at that time, for me, playing at the music room was a huge thing because when I was in uni, we all used to talk about this. We're like, man, I want to play in the music room. This seems to be the place where there's all these killer bands playing. And at the time there was Nerve Cell, and so many other killer bands. Exceed was playing over there, and all these guys. So it was kind of like a dream to play there.
Yeah, we all had that thing to play.
And I know a lot of people watching the show now are judging me, going like, man, this guy is such a fucking noob in the scene. But yeah, I mean, that's my story, dude. Like, I wasn't there from the beginning. I don't really, I mean, I grew up in Dubai. I've been here for 30 years, but I wasn't into this scene, into this whole community for a very long time, 5 years ago. But a lot happened in these 5 years. So yeah, that was the first show we ever played, and that was fun. Playing soft rock and hard rock ballads with a BC Rich.
Yeah, it's just weird because the way they look at you is like, man, oh, they're gonna play some heavy stuff, and then you start playing like Nothing Else Matters, or like
Nothing Else Matters,
and what the hell is happening, dude? You're rocking that. Like a beast of a guitar, and then suddenly you're just playing something soft. You know what? I'm just gonna take a moment, and we got new people that they're tuning in. Apparently, for I think it's the first time I'm seeing them on the channel. It's Gorgon, that he mentioned was your band, and Shireen Asadi. Thank you very much, Shireen, for joining us. Tom, my good friend from America, he's saying you can't watch this at work, but I wanted to say sup. Thank you very much, Tom, for dropping by. And he's saying maybe I'll watch I'll watch the replay later. For sure, man. Thank you very much. That means the world to me that you dropped by just to say hi, man. Thank you very much. For people who are still watching, thank you very much for sticking around and tuning in. My guest is Vivian Dsouza from the band's Portable Mind, and he's in a band with Nasser Mr. Rahi and any other bands that I'm missing? Yes, his own project, Vivian Dsouza. We're going to be talking about his EP, The Great Escape. And just before that, thank you very much for tuning in, guys. Share this video with your friends. Let them know about the page. Let's grow this community together. So, Vivian, there's your journey is that for the time that you entered the music scene, you have a lot to explain as well because of your back in the days that you were not part of the scene. So once you entered the scene, how was the environment? Did you enjoy it, or you tell us your side of the story. How was it for you? Did you enjoy playing the gigs? Did everything was going smooth? Was it international standards, or what, stuff like this? What is your side of the story?
Look, for me, it was all new. All right, so I was like a kid in a candy store. I was like, wow, there's actually live music here in Dubai. There's all this
metal,
this guys playing metal, and and it was super new for me, and I loved it, dude. Obviously at the time I didn't know a lot of people in the scene because by my nature I'm a very timid guy, and I'm introverted. I don't like to approach people and speak to them, and I'm not like that even now. I tend to keep to myself, but I liked the vibe, honestly. At that point, it was a moment of discovery for me, and I was looking at some killer fucking bands in the scene, man. I mean, this is a time when Svengali was active. There was a killer band called Ascendant, who I saw that just blew me the fuck away.
Ashish,
Uh, Ashish, yeah, Ashish.
Yomni, and
Man,
Allah, and
Yumni,
yeah.
Allah, Aram, Puneet, man, these guys were fucking amazing. Initially, so here's the funny story. So when I saw Ascendant for the first time, it was at the Wacken battle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This was in 15 or 16. I can't remember. I'm very bad with dates. But anyway, um, and they started playing Doomsday Machine, which is the opening track on the album, uh, Land of a Thousand Echoes. Um, Fuck, man, like it was something else. And I looked at these guys and like I couldn't believe that there was a heavy metal band in Dubai that plays music like this. And the crowd was going wild. There must have been like 400 people in the crowd that night, and people were moshing and stuff was flying around, and like everyone was grooving to the music. It was so fucking amazing. And I was like, you know what? I want to be up there. I want to be in a band like that. I want to play music like that. These are things that kind of inspired me. And I was like, wow, this is so cool. Like, I want to do this as well. I want to do more of it. I played one show at the music room. It wasn't enough. Then, then you have the thirst for it, and you have the hunger for it. And then that's how I started playing more shows over there. But in general, I like the vibe. I mean, everyone was good with me. I was good with everyone. Can't really say much about that. Even till now, things are pretty cool. What happened after that?
Well, but before you continue, we got Love in the house. She's saying hello from Mumbai, and
Love.
and Ashish is saying woot woot because Ascendant, man, dude, Ascendant was like a killer band. I mean, again, I really appreciate when there is like multiple genres that can represent this region. Let's just say Dubai,
Yeah.
we have you can actually, like, if someone comes to you is like, man, so okay, he's like surprised as you, like, wow, there is a metal scene in Dubai, so
Yeah.
what bands are there? And then he suddenly finds out about Spengali Ascendant, and like Nerve Cell, and Empty Art Experiment, and all Sandwash, Nicotine, and all these bands. It's like everyone is playing. That means there is a variety that you can actually like you can connect to. But the good thing was that everyone used to hang around, and these nights were always for everyone to be together, and everyone was having fun. Obviously, this is how you feel comfortable and you feel welcome.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. It's amazing that we have like a small community that we are like all together in it, and there have been up and down, which we're gonna be talking about. There was like ups and downs. As we talked earlier, that back in the days there was a bit of like some screwed up moves from some of the organizers, which we're gonna be talking about, and like I'm gonna be asking Vivian's what you call it, his. I forgot about that. His idea of the whole thing, of the whole storyline. So you got into the whole scene, let's say by 2013, 2014.
2015.
Okay, so but that was like initially the time that you were on stage.
On stage, yeah. But
Okay.
that was even the first time I even stepped foot into the music room.
That's crazy. Man. That's crazy.
Because I was too broke to pay to go into and watch a show at the music room. This is in all honesty.
And Ashish is saying, couldn't agree more. It was an amazing community of musicians at the music room. Great times. Exactly, man. It was a very good time. And it's just a bummer when they closed it down. It was just our download festival arena. Everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Like so many memories over there.
And it was every week or every month. That was the best part.
Yeah, I mean, for me, if I can like count them, I think it's gonna be more than 20 times that I played in music room with my band, or part of Desert Experiment series, or like just being on stage more than 20 times. And it's just a surreal feeling, once you're on stage, and You know, the attendance was crazy as well. I remember one of the desert experiments, I think it was the second or the third, or I think the fifth. Man, the place was packed. I mean, even
Yeah.
Gorgon was saying, man, we're running out of tickets, you know, like
Yeah.
it's not, no, 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 they were not running out of tickets, just the capacity was just full.
Capacity.
Yeah,
They couldn't
so
get more people
yeah,
in.
so they couldn't get more, and it was crazy. You see how the passion, like there is people that they're gonna
Yeah.
show up. But okay, you know what? Let's talk about that topic that we're gonna talk about. That what happened. Okay, the time that you
Yeah.
came in. I can talk about the time that I've been there since 2007. I've
Right.
seen how I grown, and I've been with the
Yeah.
guys since day one. Not since day one, but I've met them like, you know, maybe halfway, and I knew what happened with them and what was the struggle back in the days, because I was part of Nicotine and we had, you know, stuff going on as well.
Yeah.
So how was your experience? Was it like a, like, did you see do you see any changes nowadays? Okay, let's not talk about the pandemic side of it, but as in, like, you know, before pandemic, you know, prior to the pandemic, how was the scene? Was it any changes, like behavior wise, or like promoter wise, or like permission wise, arena wise, like anything related to this tiny music scene that we have? What do you
Right.
think? What was your experience? Did you feel any discomforts?
Yeah. So I remember back in 2015, 16, um, and guys, correct me if I'm wrong. You didn't have this whole concept of permits for a musician. Maybe it existed, but it wasn't that expensive.
It
You did need to
existed.
have an art. It existed. It
Yeah,
wasn't that expensive. I think it
it
was like
wasn't.
50, 50, 100
I
dirhams per
think,
person.
Gorgon, correct me if wrong. If you're still watching,
Uh,
correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was like 3,000 for like 30 musicians or something like this. Like it
yeah, it
was,
was something like this.
and and with that one-time permission, you could play for a month.
You could play a month, and yeah, and it was cheaper to get
Mm,
to do an event
mm-hmm.
back then. Okay, and now I'm talking from an organizer's perspective. Okay, but roundabout when I think 20 and mid 2016 came around, um, things started to get expensive. Then you had this new law that for every artist that has to perform, there has to be a permit, which costs 750 dirhams or something like this. And if you have 5 members, multiply that by 5, and then 1,500 for just for the application process for each band, and all the paperwork with your visa, IDs, this, that, blah, blah, blah. And you could still only play for 1 month.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you would think that you pay that amount of money, you would at least be able to play for 6 months. It's a permit that can last you for 6 months for an artist that can perform. This is his bread and butter, you know, or it's something that he does for to support himself. But no, it wasn't. So this was kind of a bummer, and I think this was one of the reasons why the scene and the music industry, at least for underground metal and rock music, kind of started going this way, degrading, and that also kind of became the reason why a lot of bands couldn't really get out there, because when you have these many barriers to entry to play a show, your organizer is going to be very selective about the kind of bands that he's going to put up on stage. You know, he's not going to spend 5-10 grand on a band, a newcomer band that's never played before, doesn't have an audience. They will never get a break. Okay.
It's a gamble.
It's a gamble, and it's an expensive gamble, because then you have okay, you have the permit cost, and sometimes you have the venue cost. Depends on where the venue is. I'm not sure how the setup with Music Room was. I think they had a special agreement or something, but again, still, then you have to pay sponsors and all the sound guys and the lighting guys, the AV, the backline. It's all costs. It adds up, and it's really expensive. And I remember, even now, there is this whole thing about why musicians don't get paid to do a show, which in theory, yes, it is bullshit, because if you're gonna get a musician to come and perform on your stage, he's playing to the audience that's over there and entertaining people, he should get paid. I mean, this is how it works. You give a service, you get money. Um, and a lot of people were unhappy with this, myself included. Um, I have never been paid for a musical show in Dubai in my life. Maybe once, but it wasn't so much. It was peanuts. It wasn't really what musicians should be getting paid.
Well, just let me jump in and tell you something. Like
Yeah.
back in the days, like when I'm talking about 2007, 8, the time that I was active with nicotine. We had
Yeah.
a run. We had a run, and when you get paid, you were getting paid. It's man, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. If it's again, it all comes down to the connections that you have. I think we talked about this.
True.
The thing is
We
like,
talked about this,
yeah,
yeah.
the thing is like, okay, connections play a huge role in the situation, especially talking about this region, about our area, and
Yeah.
the thing is that sadly enough, that this criteria has kind of transferred itself into the band, to the whole music scene as well. So it's kind of a mishmash. But just let me get back
Yeah.
to the point: is that okay? Back in the
Yeah.
days when nicotine, like okay, we won few gigs and we got
Yeah.
recognized by the magazine called Infusion, and we got recognized
Yeah.
by Red Bull and stuff like you get that hype going
Yeah.
on because it depends on your PR. And apparently and sorry, no, not apparently, back in the days, that was the early days of this whole PR thing, you really working out. You had your, and kudos to Neil DeCruz, man. He was the guy behind this. Like, he was the pushing drive for nicotine, and he worked his ass off for the PR.
Yeah.
So we were getting good gigs here and there, and
Yeah.
we never got paid. We actually got paid once for a gig at Times Cafe in Karama.
Right.
Was a New Year gig.
Times Cafe.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was a New Year's gig.
Yeah.
I think it was a 2010 New Year's Eve. And dude, you don't believe it. We got paid. We are here to entertain the people,
Wow.
but guys in the scene, like guys in, in front of the house, they're like, they're a bunch of regulars, and they're telling us, get off the stage, let the DJ play. It's like, and then we were talking about it after the show. I was like, man, we got paid, and these guys didn't even want to see us. This is just a sign of a bad booking. It's like,
True.
is okay. They thought they're gonna bring a hype with whole nicotine. We had our crew coming in, the people that they support nicotine, but it didn't work out for their own benefits. But when it comes to music room really gambled with the whole local musicians, but it worked.
True.
It-
I
they-
think they took a leap of faith with metal music and with all the scene in general. Let's be honest, the scene existed or exists because of music room.
Exactly, I
This
agree.
this is a fact, and this is never going to change. Okay. Yes, the music room doesn't exist anymore. The scene still does. It's just unfortunate that there's not a lot of places that's opening their doors to bands. Now look, there's a bunch of problems here. Okay. Now for any scene to operate, there's internal factors and there's external factors. Okay. External factors are things like artist permissions and costs of doing these shows, and also music culture.
Mhm.
Now, you can disagree with me on this, but I think that there is no real music culture in Dubai.
It's not about disagreeing with you. I agree with you, but the way I put it is that the understanding for this specific type of music is not established. The
It's not
underst-
established.
It's not. They it's like they kind of conservative when it comes to this, because there was a lot of things happening because of this, because of previous promoters. They were
Yeah.
bitching behind each other, calling the cops
Yeah,
on each
yeah,
other.
yeah, yeah.
It was just crazy,
Yeah.
man. It was just crazy. People
Satanists.
Satanists and all these BS, man. I mean, come on, man. We can't do that. I mean, first of all, none of us is into that stuff. Second of all,
Yeah.
we are all we're a small community. We're trying to have fun. And
Yeah.
these guys went on, went on and did this, brought the cops, which was a sad thing to see that most of the local musicians they got blacklisted of performing as well because of
Yep.
such an action.
Yeah. Yeah. That was really shitty. Um, I can't go. I don't want to go into specifics, and I don't. I'm pretty sure I can't even remember who it was, but yeah, I know about this whole situation where somebody called the cops and somebody
Yeah, the guys know it. The guys who are still
yeah, the
watching, they know
guys
it. Yeah.
the guys who are still watching know it. Yeah, man, that was just really shit. And when I heard this stuff, I was like, you know what, man, that's fucking weird. Like, why would you do that? The scene is already this small.
Mm-hmm.
You just destroyed it by like doing this kind of shit. But anyway, we're still here. Uh, we're still alive, more or less. It's just that we don't have a place to play.
And
Um,
Vinit is saying he had some of his best time playing and going to shows at the music room. Exactly, man. We all had memories in that place.
yeah, even if it wasn't to go and play a show, you would go to watch a friend's or
Mm-hmm.
a friend of yours who plays in the band. You would just go in, okay, grab a beer, sit down and chill with all your other musician buddies from the scene, okay, and watch your friends play. I mean, that was fucking amazing, dude. I really enjoyed doing that, and that's how I got to know a lot of people in the scene now. Like this is how I met the guys from Ascendant. I became. I mean, now we're great friends now, and I even had the pleasure of playing with Ascendant
In Beirut,
once
yeah.
in Beirut. Yeah, I mean that was like a killer experience. But it all started from these little connections, these little conversations that you have, the little converse and chill that you have in the music, you know.
So I mean,
So
okay, this is a good segue to that behavior
yeah,
of musicians. Like some musicians, they kept that awesome being down to earth, being completely
yeah,
nice guys behavior.
yeah,
Still, they were still, even when they're not part of the scene now, they're still having it.
yeah.
But in your opinion, did it change? Did some bands change their behavior, the way they interact with different musicians, with different bands, not showing up for this gig, not showing up for that gig? You know,
Yeah.
were you part of this? Did you hear anything about this?
Look, let me put it this way. People are who they are, and they will never change. If someone disappointed you in the past, there's a high chance that they will do it in the future, and they will keep doing it. And your mistake as an individual is to have an expectation from this person that he will change or that he will do something differently. That's not going to happen. Okay. Yes, there have been instances where I have friends or acquaintances in the scene who, on a regular basis, on a normal day, we're good friends, we talk, and we say, yeah, when are you playing next? I have a show coming up. Yeah, I'd love to be there. Day of the show comes, they don't show up. But you know what? It's fine.
Well, that's
It's normal. I mean,
that's one of the parts
yeah,
that, okay, maybe they have different
yeah,
priorities, but what I was trying to say is
yeah.
that behavior change, as in like individuals. Did you face anything like that they were cool with you a few times, and then suddenly, just because they've seen you more successful in some sort of way, and they like change their behavior towards you, or like around you? Did you experience anything like
Uh,
that?
Actually, no. I only experience this for the better, for the on in a positive way. I haven't had a negative experience in this sense that, I knew somebody when I was no one, and then now I'm a musician and I play shows and I have an EP, and like now people look at me and go like, oh, the attitude changes towards me. No, in fact, it's the complete opposite. People who I knew are much better friends with me now. They're closer to me now, and
Nasser is in the house, man. I love this guy. Nasser, thank you very much for tuning in. It's
yeah.
like, the scene is full of selfish pricks. I fucking love you,
Maybe you
man.
should, maybe you should get him on the show. He
Dude,
has a lot to say
dude,
about the scene.
I wanted to get him on the show. I even contacted him. I contacted him again, and I apologized to him that I couldn't get him. It was just a barrage of people. Like, I was, like, the way I do it, I like, I tell people, like, up front, I give them the dates, like, these are open. I think Nasser didn't get back to me on time, which again,
Yeah.
dude, I am getting Nasser on board for sure because, dude, whenever I sat down, I remember Nasser. Correct me if wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. First time I saw you, Viv, as well, it was with the Nasser's album launch. It was
It was at
that album Kudos.
Legends.
Yeah, Legends
Uh,
with Kubos, the drummer.
Cobus, yeah, with
Kobus.
Cobus Pod guy there, yeah.
So I enter Legends. There is no one except Nasser having his steak. Okay,
Yeah.
sitting by himself. I go in and I paid and I get the album and I'm sitting next to him. I was like, yeah, what's up, bro, and everything. We're just catching up and like he's like, man,
Yeah.
did you? It's like, oh, you came early to you can enter for free. I'm like, dude, I'm having your album, so I paid and they gave me this. It's like, man, seriously, dude, thank you very much. I'm like, dude, you don't need to mention it, but we are here for the whole thing. And dude, Nasser, thank you very much for dropping by. He's saying, scene full of selfish pricks and arrogant. I cannot say that word. And a lot of D heads. And and now Ashish is on board. It's like, Nasser, tell us how you really feel. I'll be on. He's saying I'll be on soon. Just been busy, bro. Yeah, I know, man. Vin is saying, what an entrance, Nasser.
For the entrance.
He's saying, let's do it next week, man. I'm fully booked. I'm very sorry, but you know what? I'll get in touch with you. We'll talk about it for sure, Nasser. And he's saying all good. We'll talk in next. We're gonna talk about it next time. Sure, man, for sure. Man, you know what? It's a good segue. Nasser entered with that Stone Cold Steve Austin type of entrance. I love Nasser. How was your journey with Nasser? Because it's one of the projects that you're a part of is with Nasser. So tell us about this guy. Is he like a crazy dude as he looks, or is he
Nasser's a
chill
dick.
dude?
No,
Man?
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I love Nasser. Nasser's like, he's one of my closest friends. He's more of a brother to me, this guy. So I've known Nasser for the past 5 years. We first met in 2015 when I joined the scene. And it was just a few months after I played that first show with Discord. There was another show happening for Musicians United, also again done by from Wind Sinners, and Nasser was on the bill. At the time, he was playing on his as a solo artist with the band, and he didn't have a guitarist at that time. So somehow we got hooked up. I think it was Vinesh who put us in touch. That okay, hey, here's Vivian. He plays for another band. Maybe he can help you out. And so on. And that's how me and Nasser started talking. And he sent me his music. And the moment he sent me the first album, that's 1987. I heard the opening track, and man, like I was like, fuck, this is awesome. Like this is the kind of music I want to play, because it's how do I put it? Like it's that whole vibe of like classic 80s metal, hard rock, heavy rock thing, and with these crazy Van Halen riffs and the solos, and it was fucking amazing. I was hooked, man. I was like, you know what? This is cool, dude. Send me the music and send me tabs if you have it. And so he had Guitar Pro tabs for the songs. He actually transcribed all of it, and and he flew down to Dubai. We had 2 or 3 rehearsals, and I was super nervous because I had never played music like this at this pace before. But we had a killer first show. There's actually videos still up on YouTube on his page. Check him out. Type in Nasser Mistarihi on YouTube, and you'll find a bunch of old live videos that we did from 2015 onwards. And it's always been original music. It's always been original music with the band, and maybe we would play like 1 or 2 covers just to make people happy.
And you guys played Comic-Con a couple of times, yeah, with Nasser?
Yes, we played Comic-Con in 2017 and 2018. The first year we played at Comic-Con, Neil actually sang with us on one of the songs. He was guesting on one of the songs. That was a cool experience, dude, because that was the biggest stage I think we ever played on. It was huge. It was like playing at a festival arena. Massive stage, like monitors everywhere and killer lights and smoke machines, and it was amazing. Like, it was so cool. And I'm so glad we had the chance to do that.
I just want to.
And then we will.
Yeah. Go carry on.
Yeah, and then we had the chance to do it the next year after that as well. So and the point was like every year, every show that we played. So me and Nasser never we never played more a lot of shows on a regular basis,
Mm-hmm.
like how the other bands who in Dubai, because Nasser is based in Doha and I'm here,
Mm-hmm.
and at the time we were always in between drummers and bass players. We had a fixed drummer for a while. Initially, it was Bims from Carl and the Weather Mafia, the old drummer.
Mm-hmm.
Then he left, and then Ziad filled in.
Mm-hmm.
Ziad from Portable,
Mm-hmm.
and he played with us for quite some time. He was with us up until 2018 or 19, beginning of 19. Yeah, I mean for all these years, and uh, we never played too many shows. If on in a good year, we would play maybe 3 shows. That was the highest number of shows we ever played
Mm-hmm.
um, in Dubai, because it's really it's really it's expensive. I mean, think about it. The guy has to fly
Yep.
down from Doha, come
Exactly.
here, get a hotel,
Pay for jams
pay
and
for
stuff.
jams, food, drinks,
Transports. Yeah.
rehearsals, transport. It's fucking expensive, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and
It's
yeah, Ashish actually played with us in the
mm-hmm.
second Comic Con. He was playing bass with us. And we played 2 shows together. That one and another one at Scarlet Cardinal.
Mm-hmm.
This was Discount Music Room when when music.
Discount. It was not even remotely near musical, man.
Sorry, that's El Barrio, Discount Music Room.
Yeah, yeah, El Barrio. I just want to, you know what, Nasser, go check because he's saying no, you didn't get back to me on time. Dude, go check your FB Messenger or your Instagram Messenger. I texted you and I apologize to you over there. And him and Ashish are having a conversation now. He's like, by the way, Nasser is saying, Vivian, I love you, bro. He's saying, Vivian, Vivian, my closest friend, only person I trust, even with money. And then he's saying, Ashish, I miss you, dude. We have a controversial story about the second Comic Con. No
Oh yeah.
asshole, no asshole. We played 4 in a year. He's talking to whatever you were saying, and then he's like,
Uh, okay,
yes,
number of shows that we played.
and he's saying the sacrifice. What is the sacrifice?
The sacrifice.
Nasser, elaborate more on that. I'm
What
now
does he mean?
I'm now and like I really want to know what's the sacrifice.
I love it. He's tuned in, man. He's like online
Hey,
now.
dude,
We're
dude,
gonna have a conversation with Nasser now. This is
dude,
awesome.
please, man. I freaking love Nasser, man. Nasser is a crazy dude. You know what
Man,
I like about Nasser? Nasser is very upfront. You know what?
exactly.
He wears his heart on the sleeve. He is
Yeah,
diplomatic, but he's not
yeah,
afraid of talking his heart out, which he did, and he actually proved people wrong. Which I
yeah,
kudos to you, man. I
yeah,
always agreed with you, Nasser. Even like when we just
yeah,
sit down. And by the way, man,
yeah.
you guys had a great show at Moto. That was your last show, yeah, as
Hmm.
Winterburn.
Winterburn, yeah. So
Yeah.
this is when we decided to change the name of the band
Mm-hmm.
to have an actual band name and do things a bit differently now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that was the idea to, because we have a new record that's ready. It's mixed and mastered, everything's done.
Mm-hmm.
The plan was to release it this year
Mm-hmm.
and follow it up with a bunch of things, promoting it in shows and blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
But then the pandemic hit, and then
Yep.
everything went to shit, and we didn't think it was really the right time to. But again, we're working on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not forgotten, but all in good time. And I think when we do come back, and it's gonna be with a kick-ass bang, and
Dude,
it's gonna be something big. Like I'm super excited for it.
dude, the artwork is crazy, and Nasser is saying, regarding the sacrifice, he's saying as in traveling, hotel, and the money, and he's saying
And
love
the
you
money,
guys.
yeah,
Thank you very
yeah.
much, man. We love you, man. Fucking much love and mad respect to you,
Well,
Nasser, because
yeah,
Nasser was one of the guys who entered this scene solo. He just came in and he established that rock and roll feel that it was lacking. That we didn't had that type of music in the scene.
yeah.
There were
And he
cover
was the
bands.
outsider. He was
Mm-hmm.
the outsider of the scene. He still
Mm-hmm.
is.
Yes,
Okay, and
exactly.
this is something we can talk about as well.
Yeah, for sure, man.
And now I can actually say it. Yeah, I mean, the band with Nasser and Nasser in general has always been treated as an outsider from the scene,
Mm-hmm.
and certain individuals over the years have said that, oh, bro, you don't belong to this scene because you don't live here. You don't. How many shows have you played over here? And we've had to listen to things and like this in the past. So in this sense, yeah, as a band with Nasser, we've never really. I feel we never really had the. Um, we never really been embraced by the scene as one of its own. It was always like another brand from the outside. Yeah, Nasser is from the, not from the Dubai scene. He's from outside. So this perspective had to change.
Dude, Nasser is not alone on that fucking page, man. There is a lot of people. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of bands that they felt like that. And, I personally seen that happen. So, but again, I don't want to talk about it because as we talked about earlier, it's just one of these dead weight type of topics that, either you have the like-minded people that they're actually ready to sit down and talk business and dissect this whole thing and work on it.
Yeah.
Or otherwise it's just a waste of time, which, the other people also, they don't want to waste their time and talk about it. They just rather stay in their own bubble. And Nasser is saying, which is ironic, as I lived in Dubai and been playing there since 2005. LOL. Exactly, man.
Exactly.
Dude,
exactly.
Nasser, don't expect much, man. Don't expect much. You're
Don't
doing
expect
great.
much.
You're doing great by yourself.
Yeah.
You release how many? 3, 4 albums, 2 albums or 3 albums under Nasser Mistarahi, and 1 album with Winterburn, and you're still going on and you're strong. Keep in mind, you had a fucked up situation that was your health, and you're coping up with that. Kudos to you, man. You're doing it properly, and all the best luck to you. And you're gonna be doing it more, and you're gonna have more great records on the shelf for sure, man. And he's saying Rami from Nerfsil and I both started out in Dubai and left to our hometowns, but they kiss his band's ass, yet treat like an outsider. Thanks. But again, I mean, that's the thing, because Nerfsil is much more of a homegrown band that we all grew up with, But again, man, we are on the same boat, man. Nerfsil dudes are like one of my fucking favorite people ever, man. Barney James is a freaking teddy bear, man. The guy is a living teddy bear. You cannot just go wrong with this guy. Barney, an awesome dude, man. Whenever I chill out with this guy, it's just like knowledge. As I was telling you earlier, I think last night we were talking, Vivian.
Yeah.
I was having long ass conversations, like 3 hours. I just went, just to meet him and catch up with him, and he was opening up to me. It's like you don't see any other band who been active for 20 years to open up with you like that, man. No one would open up to you. He told me so many things about the scene, about the industry, and how this shit really works if you want to make it work. And that's why I'm saying, Nasser, you are on the right path. You were doing it solo. Now you have Vivian on your side. Winterburn is much more active, so you guys are on a good path, man. You guys are doing.
He always had me on. He always had me on his side. I think I'm the longest member of the band he's ever had.
And you guys look a lot like each other when you guys open your hair. Both of you have the hair flip and stuff like this. It was so synchronized and stuff like this, man. You know what? What? It's a good segue that actually, why I named this topic, why I named this episode The Great Scape, which refers to your released EP, the one that you released, The Great Scape, and it's your scape, how you evolved from being in a cover band and being with other people that they didn't understand you, and how was your journey. So what you say we go and watch and we hear one of your music, one of your tracks, which is called Days of Summer, from your The Great Scape EP, and we're gonna be back to you guys in a bit. So enjoy the track. Viv, what an
Yo,
awesome track, man. So,
thanks, man.
man, the
Ah,
first thing that gets me is the artwork. So, you know what? Take your time.
yeah.
Explain what's the whole thing about. What was the thought process? What's the concept of the Great Escape EP?
Okay. This is a bit of a funny one. So I had a vision. Um, and it sounds silly when I say this, but yeah, I actually did have I had a vision and one of my journeys. Let's put it this way. Um, the story about the artwork is basically, so if you look at the artwork, you can see these guys in the bottom, with the dancing around a bonfire.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the concept is, um, these guys are on an alien planet. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When I say alien, I mean it's a planet that's not Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys are the indigenous local people of this planet.
Mm-hmm.
They were born here, they were raised here. This is who they are. This is where they're from.
Mm-hmm.
But they've lived here for generations and generations, and but now they decided it's time to get out of here, because it's they're kind of the persecuted people of this land. There are other evil forces and stuff that are trying to, take,
Mm-hmm.
not let them live a peaceful life. Um, so in their tribe, there's a legend, um, of a mystical creature, a mystical figure
Mm-hmm.
on top of a mountain. And legend has it that this mystical person has the power to send them to a different planet, to transport them, teleport them to another place. Um, so they travel here. They see this huge, godlike creature, on the top.
Mm-hmm.
He's still being, and in order to get his attention and ask for his help, they decide to do a bonfire and do a spirit dance
Mm-hmm.
around him,
A
to
ritual.
try and get his a ritual. It's a
Mm-hmm.
ritual. It's a spirit dance, a ritual to get his attention and pray to him, basically, because they
Mm-hmm.
assume that this guy is God and he's someone who can help them and, uh, for better days. And yeah, that's the story. And you see all the planets in the corner. There are different planets, like different options where they can go to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's actually a part two to this artwork, which I thought about, but I haven't put it in paper.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not. I don't think that will be, like an artwork for another album. It's just another artwork that I would keep for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the idea is that these guys, that once they get transported to another planet
Mm-hmm.
by this creature, they all land on one planet, but they don't all land in the same place.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so like one person lands in the northern hemisphere, another one in the south, another one in the east, another one in the west, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea is that they then become the indigenous people of Earth, the Earth that we know,
Mm-hmm.
the first human beings and the first of their kind, and they actually came from somewhere else. And
So basically,
again,
it revolves around like a rebirth, you can say.
it revolves around rebirth. It revolves around, trying your best to escape from a situation that you're not happy with,
Mm-hmm.
and you, out of desperation, you do a lot of things. You cling on to faith and hope and religion and to, God and all these things that we as human beings believe in,
Mm-hmm.
to try and get out of that situation.
Man, that's a great concept. I mean, like,
Yeah.
and again over here,
Yeah.
Nasser is like, yeah, we forgot to read the comments. He's like, he's Nasser is saying that, yeah, talk about Vivian's new EP, which masterpiece by the way, and he's like, such a killer tune. It's my favorite on the record, and he's saying I keep telling Viv should have saved these riffs for the upcoming Winterburn album.
He
And
keeps telling me that. Yeah. I mean,
and Ashish is saying, tell us more about the journey, which you said. And
That,
Nasser is laughing at what she said, and Nasser is saying, "What in the acid trip is this concept?"
yeah, it feels like it. I mean, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I had a certain picture of the artwork in my head,
Hmm.
and when I gave it to the artist. By the way, the artist, I want to give him a big shout out. His name is Zulfa. He's an illustrator out of Indonesia,
Nice,
from
nice.
Jakarta. I found him on Instagram. I was looking for illustration artists and guys who do album artwork and
Mm,
cover stuff and covers for albums. And I just came across his page on Instagram, and
mm,
it was super cool, man. Like he had the exact kind of artwork that I was looking for. It's not too modern, it's not too cartoonish, it's just in between. It's got that anime, uh,
futuristic anime and
futuristic
yeah,
anime kind of vibe going
mm,
on, and
comic. Yeah, it's like it has
comic.
that comic book type
Exactly,
of vibe.
exactly. And the funny thing is, I just like happened to like follow him, and instantly he sent me a message, and then we started talking.
Hmm.
And I was like, okay, yeah, I have this album coming out and an EP coming out, and I will send you the brief. Man, I swear to you, I sent him one paragraph, a paragraph and a half, and I just sent him a brief of a few key elements, like
Hmm.
like the guy and the the planets and the people and the fire and stuff.
Hmm.
I had a bit more of a different perspective. I was looking at it more from like a wide landscape sort of a thing.
Hmm.
But he just gave it a whole different perspective, man, because he gave it from a perspective of the people on the ground looking up at this guy.
Hmm.
It was so sick. Like I loved it. And the colors, the color work is really amazing. Like I love it. Um, Highly recommend this guy. He's really awesome. I mean, I'll send you a link to his page.
For
Maybe
sure,
you can
man.
put it in the description. That would be super
For
cool.
sure, man. For sure. So tell us about the song. What is the song about? Like, because your EP is all instrumental, and but the songs have
Yeah.
names. They have titles. So
Okay.
Days of Summer. What's behind the name, and does it go with the feel of the song? And how was it?
So, this being an instrumental song, an instrumental EP, um, there initially there was no connection between the name and the artwork. So I'm not the kind of guy who comes up with a concept for the song and then writes music that fits that concept.
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't, for me, my creative process is not that way. In fact, all the songs that you hear on the EP now, these were written anywhere between 2015 to 2019. There's old songs that have just been sitting in my hard drive for like such a long time. These are demos that I worked on.
Mm-hmm.
These were just ideas and riffs I had in my head, like stuff I think about when I'm driving. Okay, or like when I'm like sitting chilling with my friends, and I have you have a tune going on in your head. As a musician, everyone has this. You have clicks, and you keep moving your feet, and you're grooving to a rhythm or something. And I
Mm-hmm.
had these things, so I usually used to hum the tune on my phone. And then when I finally figured out how to record stuff at home, um, like using Reaper and all these VSTs and stuff, just to
Mm-hmm.
make these demos, I actually put them down, learn how to program drums and using Easy Drummer and all these different tools. Um, and I made these demos, but I was always shy about it. I wasn't really confident about my music.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and this is something that I had to get over. It took me a while. It took me a good maybe 3 years to actually believe in myself and to say that, you know what, fuck it, it's my music. Okay, I've written it the way I want it to sound,
Mm-hmm.
and no matter what I do, if I spend another 10 years working on it, it's not going to change. It's going to be the same, because that's who I am.
Mm-hmm.
This music is who I am. All the riffs and all the whole song that you listen to is basically a part of me. It's a part of what's going on in my brain.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the idea. So, and then when I sat down to work on a concept, I tried to think of which 4 songs would fit this concept, about this idea that I had in my head about the people escaping this planet and so on. Um, and that's how I did it, man. Like I came up with so each song had a different name before. They're actually funny names. I'll tell you about them later.
Like, did you had a lot of like thought processes, like, what you need to name them that goes with the concept or
Yes,
stuff like this?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. I had a lot of thought processes actually. It took me a few weeks to come down with the names because I had a huge list of names on my phone.
Oh, okay.
Kept cycling between them, and I only finalized the names when I saw the artwork, the final artwork, because then it made sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but it all had to do with um, things like the ritual and like the spirit dance and all these other things, and about the mountain
Mm-hmm.
and these
The
kind and
the
about the
whole
fire.
concept, the whole concept.
The whole concept. And I had different names, but when I finally saw the artwork, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. These are the names. It just came to me at that point. I was like, okay. And it was literally 2 days before I posted the album online
Mm-hmm.
on the publisher website that I finalized the names.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was killer. I mean, the whole idea of this EP, it wasn't to show that, oh, look, here's me, guitarist, virtuoso, this, that. No, it's not about that. It's not about, the idea was just for me to release this music out there. Like, I want people to listen to it. It's a part of me that I want to share with the world. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that was the whole idea behind it, and the whole process of doing the EP and mixing and mastering the whole thing. That was another whole learning experience, man. Like, it's a huge learning curve. I mean, I learned how to record guitars at home on my laptop, using a sound card and all these things, a few years ago. But I didn't really know how to mix it. I didn't really know how to make it sound like high production quality, as international standards.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I mean, that's something I had to learn. That's something I had to try and fail several times and finally do it.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, for close friends of mine who know me, who have been following me on my YouTube page, I actually put two of the songs from the EP. I released them a few years ago as original demos. They were out there, and now when I listen to when I listen to the quality and the mix from back then as compared to now, man, it's like heaven and earth. It sounds so different. But I had to learn these things, and for many years I thought, okay, how can I do this? Like, I'm a guitarist. Okay, I know how to play. I know how to record. How do I make it sound like it can be released on a place like Spotify or YouTube, or where people can download and actually pay for it, and download the stuff and share it. And for many years I thought, okay, maybe I should go to a studio. Maybe I need to hire an engineer, a producer, a mixing guy, a mastering guy.
To go,
Unfortunately,
yeah, okay, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. I'm saying, unfortunately, so far I wasn't fortunate enough to find someone who I clicked with, who understood
This
the concept
genre,
of my
yeah.
music. No, it's not about the genre. The genre is very simple. I mean, this genre, it's nothing new. Like, it's been done a million times before. Okay, instrumental rock, heavy, whatever, blues rock. It's been done before, but it's about the sound that I wanted to have, the feel that I wanted in music. I felt I couldn't get that from anybody. Okay, and this is coming up. I'm not saying that I approached people and it didn't work out with them and I got bad mixes and whatever. No, it's from experiences from my other bands and from my other projects. And over the years things that I did, I realized in the end that I need to be in complete control of my music, of my art. I know it may sound like an egoistical thing that, okay, but man, come on, it's my art. I want it to sound a
No,
specific way,
no, it's
and
not.
only
And
I will.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
not.
and only
It's
I can be happy with the way it sounds in the end.
no, it's not about being being an egotistic person or whatever.
Yeah.
This is your material and it's your craft, and you want to make sure that it stays relevant to you. You need to,
Exactly.
yeah, you need to, it should be you. That's the beauty of the whole art platform, that we're part of it. We are the musicians of it. There's like artists like painters and stuff. You see it even like
Exactly.
painting. They put their own touch into it. So like they don't
Exactly.
go ahead and ask people, oh, what you think about this, or like
Exactly.
you know, once once you've done your homework and you know that what you want and what you want to sound like, it's there.
Yep.
You just
Yep.
go to the guy and give him the proposal, the whole
Yep.
map, the whole
Yep.
structure, and you just tell him, you know what, just let's do it together. You help me, or that's
Yeah.
one way. But again,
It's like, here's the shit, make it sound good.
yeah, but
Kind of.
in your case, you actually said, okay, you know what, I've you know I went to people, it just didn't work out,
Yep.
or you know I want to do it from my own. I will started doing it
Yep.
on my own, and you know you learned a new
Exactly.
thing. You learned a new thing, and still you're learning stuff. And
Yep.
this is just um, come on, man. Deep down, you know you're still not happy with the EP. Some way or another. Now that you're listening to it, it's like, man, I wish I did this here. I wish
Oh,
did this
man,
here.
don't say that, man, because I tried to get over this.
But no, I'm
I
saying this because I know you. You remember how many times we were
Yeah.
butting heads because of the what's called the drive sound on my guitar. It's like, no, man, I want. It's like,
Um,
man, I like it this way. You know, it's like I still remember
oh,
you were telling me, man, no matter what I do with my Helix or overdrive, I'm still not
yeah.
happy with it.
Yeah, true. And I'm sure that Nasser is gonna comment saying, "Yeah, it's because your Helix is shit." No, fuck you. It's not shit. It's amazing. No, that's not the thing. I am someone who is really anal about the way his music should sound
You're a
or his band.
perfectionist. You're a perfectionist.
No, no,
Which
yeah, yeah. Every musician is a perfectionist, or at least they try to be. But again, like Gorgon would always say to me, no piece of art is complete. It's only abandoned. And this will forever be the case. I listen to my EP now. Okay, I know where the mistakes are there, and every album has something. Um, and there are things even in the mix that I listen to now, and I feel like, maybe I could have gone back and changed something, or like tweak something else, or use a different type of compressor over here, or maybe like use a different EQ curve over here, or something, like. And trust me, dude, I went back and forth. I must have had 7 versions of the mix for the EP in a span of 2 weeks.
man, you're missing on what
2.5
Nasser is
weeks.
saying, man. Nasser is saying, I
Yeah,
hate the
I can see
Helix.
it.
It's awful. It's the gonorrhea
Yeah.
of pedals. Man, I love you, Nasser. The metaphors he's using is just, out of this world. Gonorrhea. Jesus, bro. Oh man, sorry to
Yeah,
cut you off.
well,
It had to be
yeah,
said,
that's okay.
like it had to be said.
Yeah, I mean, to each his own, dude. Like, tone is again something. Everything is subjective. Everything is based on perspective. Um, I may like the tones of the Helix, but most people don't.
Which I like,
Some
man.
people.
Helix was it's a dope pedal, man. It is a dope.
It's a very versatile tool. Like, look out. I am still a advocate for analog. Okay,
Even
I
me.
love analog gear. Okay, yeah. There is nothing like running your guitars hooked up straight into the front of the amp, coming out to a 4x12 with air moving around you and like making that sound. That's something you can replicate with anything. Not even with the Helix. I'm not saying that the Helix it's yeah, man, like it's like the real thing. No, it's not. It's not the real thing. Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's an emulation of it. And for someone who, at least in the past, used to play shows very often, I didn't want to carry around a 100-watt amp and a cabinet plus a pedal board plus my 2 guitars to every single gig. I know it sounds spoiled and privileged, but fuck you, I don't want to break my back. Okay, it's easier for me to walk around with a small box that has all my tones in it. Okay, and my guitar. I just have 2 things that I have to carry now. That's it. It's also a matter of convenience, and it sounds good. It's not the worst thing in the world. Like it is really good. I think the Helix came out back in 2014, and Ashish was the first guy in the scene in Dubai to get the Helix. He was the guy who told me about. I remember chilling out at his place. We were watching videos on YouTube about the Helix and how it was the next step, the next evolution in DSP processing. Okay, DSP sounds. And he got one. He used it for a couple of times, and I heard him use it at the all the Ascendant gigs. And we sat down, and I was convinced, man. Like I saw it, it's everything in the box. You have your effects, you have your amps, you have a lot of versatile, and you can hook up multiple instruments at the same time. And there's a lot of possibilities with the Helix, not only for stage but even in the studio, even at home. You can use it as an interface, as a matter of fact. So some of the songs, the demos for the songs were recorded with the Helix. Yeah, Ashi says, "Hail from the Helix gang." Fuck yeah, dude. I still believe that it was Ashish, me, and then. Do you remember a band called Made in Arabia? Everyone knows them.
Yeah, man.
They're the tribute band for Iron Maiden.
Elvis, I know Elvis. Yeah.
Elvis. They had a guitarist called Steven.
I don't know the members. I just know Elvis.
Big guy with the mullet and glasses and the handlebar mustache.
He had a mullet.
He was the second guitar. Anyways, so me and him were really good friends, and he bought the Helix as well right after I did, because he saw me using it at one of the shows.
Kareem had a Helix.
Kareem as well, yeah. Okay, so I stand corrected. 4 guys. I still believe that we were the first 4 guys in the scene in Dubai, at least, to commercially use Helix at gigs, like a lot of gigs.
Man, even Kareem was super happy with the pedal. He was like,
he loved it. I think he never sold it until the last year. Yeah, Steven Dsouza and Kareem Kayat, exactly, also picked up the Helix. So it's a good tool. Okay, I love it. I still have it. I flew to fucking Beirut with this box. It didn't break.
Yeah, I remember your suitcase.
Yeah, and I checked it into the luggage. It survived.
Yeah,
the
man,
box survived. Like it. I mean, yeah, I loved it.
You know what?
What's next?
The 4 horsemen of the sound apocalypse.
Sound apocalypse. Yeah.
Man, Nasser, you know what? It's a good. Let's change the feel a bit right here. We're gonna get back to your EP again. We're gonna hear another track, but before that, let's hit it to the rapid fire round, which is the trivia section that I do with my guest. And everyone that's still watching, thank you very much for tuning in and still sticking around. You guys are awesome. I love you guys. This means the world to me. Please share this video with your friends. Let them know about the page. Let's get more traffic into the page and let them know about this page so we can create more content for you guys. And this trivia section, I will be presenting you with 2 options, which you choose one of them. And if you want to talk about it, all the camera angle is yours. So whoever is still watching, again, thank you very much. And you guys can join us for this trivia section. Just drop your answer in the comment section and let's have fun together. So, are you ready, Vivian?
All right, let's do it.
Let's get the easy ones out of the door. Metallica or Megadeth?
Megadeth.
Okay, you're that guy. Okay. Okay, moving on. Creative blockage. Okay, I will give you two scenarios. What you do when you have a creative blockage. Okay. I'll have a glass of wine and I'll have a cigarette and then get back to it, or drop it in the drawer for later.
Drop it in the drawer for later.
Okay.
Always.
Okay, moving on. Steve Harris or Billy Shane?
No, don't fucking do this, man.
Welcome to Combos and Chill, man.
Fuck.
And it's
With a very
written,
heavy...
and it's written over there, a huge Iron Maiden fan.
Huge Iron Maiden fan.
And Ashish is saying Metallica, Nasser is saying Megadeth, Nasser is laughing. I don't know what he's laughing about.
Okay, for bass player, Steve Harris. I mean, always number 1 for me.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah.
Dude, I can't, dude, no, that's a no-brainer for me, Billy Shane.
Yeah, I mean, very close second. These are my top 2 bass players of all time.
And moving on. Ego should exist in a band, yes or no?
No. Never.
Is there a thing behind it? Are you
ego is what kills it. Ego is what kills any relationship. It's what kills any friendship. Yeah, just no. Just no, just don't be that guy, or girl, or person, or person.
Ashish is saying drop some A. Nasser is saying Steve. Ashish is saying Steve. And Nasser is saying Geddy Lee as well. Yeah, Geddy Lee is awesome.
Yes, Gary Lee as well. Man, we could go on with this list. There's so many like killer bass players
Man, Victor
who I love.
Wooten,
Victor
Les
Wooten, yeah.
Claypool,
Yes.
Flea from Red Hot. You know, it's so many of them. But you know, as I knew
There's
you're
a
an
lot of
Iron
them.
Maiden fan, so I wanted to keep you in the spot.
Yeah.
So because I know you're a Paul Gilbert fan as well, so I was
Yeah.
like, I'll keep you in that spotlight. Choose these.
You're making this so hard for me, dude. Like
Yeah.
I can't choose between these guys.
So moving on, music is music theory is not for everyone. True or false?
That's true.
Okay.
It wasn't for me. Music theory wasn't for me. I studied music theory for the longest time, for 8 years, and I don't use it anymore now. It's a good base for
Foundation.
your foundation. It's a good, sorry, yeah, that's what I meant. It's a good foundation for things, for a musical career or things, but I don't think it's an absolute necessity for anyone who wants to just start learning how to play a guitar. Okay, when you reach a certain level and when you start sessioning for people, yes, at this point you need to know music theory. You need to know sheet music. You need to know how to read music, time signatures, intervals. All you need to know these things. Otherwise, you can't make it as a session player.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because they don't speak like like how we speak as musicians. They speak in theory, in music theory terms.
And Ashish is saying false
For
like music theory is not for everyone. He's saying it's false.
okay, yeah.
Which I think he's yeah, I mean everyone has his own thing. And Nasser is saying that he needs to talk to you after this show. Apparently he's getting some ideas.
Okay, cool.
So moving on, getting inspired by other musicians or traveling.
Sorry, say that again.
Do you get inspired by looking up other musicians or by traveling?
Looking up other musicians.
Moving on, chords or riff guy?
Riff guy. Any day. For breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
What you guys think, Nasser and Ashish? You guys are riff guys or chord guys?
They're all riff guys. That's why we're friends.
Moving on, Chris Cornell with Audio Slave or Soundgarden?
Oh man, why do you have to do this?
Ashish, Vivian, whoever is still watching, what you guys think? Chris Cornell with Audio Slave or Soundgarden? Until Vivian comes up with an answer.
I would say with Soundgarden.
I agree with you because with Audio Slave it was just Rage Against the Machine with Chris Cornell.
Yeah, more or less.
Next one, Vinita is saying riffs, and Ashish is saying riffs for days. Yeah, again, these guys.
See, this is why we're friends. This is because we all love killer fucking riffs.
Which Vinit writes complicated chords as well. Let's keep that in mind. And Nasser is saying, I think everyone should know theory to a certain extent. Soundgarden easily. He's saying Soundgarden easily. Vinita is saying Soundgarden forever. Ashish saying Cornell. Okay, Cornell what? Okay, moving on. The next one, I'm that's a good. It's a good point that Vinit came on board. Next one, too gent or not too gent?
Holy shit. Too gent, but sometimes.
I'm sure with
Vinit. I'm not a fan. I'm not a big fan of. I like gent. I think it's, but I don't think it should be a genre. I think it's a style and something that you can use in certain sections of your songs for breakdowns and stuff. But to find an entire genre, I know it.
It's a variation. It can be a variation.
It's a variation. Yeah. Look, in the Portable Mind EP, we have some sections which have a bit of gent.
Yeah, I heard song 2.
Gent. Yeah, I mean, that's why it's called gent. Um, as long as it fits the music, as long as it fits the song, I think, yeah, sure.
Very nice point. The next one is very related to this one. Making the structure complicated for sake of staying relevant, or taking a simple melody, make it shine in a simple structure.
Fuck, I'm the wrong person to ask that.
Well,
Um,
you are here. You're my guest, so
I would say I like simple melody. Okay. Um, I think it's easier to listen to as an audience. You can relate the music to transfer the emotion of the song to the audience better with a simple melody that you work and you make it, you polish it nicely, and it becomes like a grand thing. Uh, Making things super technical and complicated is also cool, but I think it fits to a certain niche of people. You would be catering to musicians at the end. Again, you can choose to be anyone. You can choose to be a musician who makes music for normal people, who everyday listeners, or you can choose to be a musician who makes music for himself and for other musicians to appreciate. I think that's kind of what happens now with a lot of musicians, because we go up on Instagram and we I mean, I know I follow like 1,000 different killer guitarists, like, and I look at these guys and I'm like, wow, like they're so technical. Some guys, and you have these crazy shreds and sweeps and like odd time signature stuff going on and this weird ass stuff. It's complicated. Only musicians would appreciate it. If I showed that to my dad, he wouldn't understand it. He would be like, what the fuck is this shit?
exactly.
You know, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I would say
the
simple melody.
simple melody with a simple structure. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's get back to the comments for a section. For a second, Vinit is saying I hate that term, as in gent, and Ashish is saying some gents are good, ladies
Ladies
are better. Obviously, bro, obviously. And
Obviously.
man, again, the cherry on top and the highlight of this episode entirely, Nasser, I love you, man. Gent sounds like my ass when I am having diarrhea shooting multiple farts. Dude, I love your metaphors. I love it. I love it. Dude, you're coming on the show as soon as I can. I just want to hear that stuff from your own mouth on live TV, on live stream. That's going to be awesome, man. Anyway, man, thank you guys for sticking around. So moving on, we have a few left. Music should not be music should not be competitive. True or false?
Music should not be complicated.
No, not
False.
complicated. Competitive.
Competitive. Yeah, false.
False.
I think music should be competitive, but not competition for the sake of fucking the other person over and saying, I'm better than you and you suck. No. Healthy competition in music is normal. Every scene has this. You grow from, learn from this. Okay. This is what happened with me. When I started off in the scene, I didn't know anyone in the scene. I didn't have a proper band of my own, or that I was part of, that I felt that, or even as a musician myself, as a guitar player, man, I was not the guitar player I am today. If you would have met me even 3 years ago, like, I've been playing guitar since I was 16. I'm almost 30 now. I didn't have a lot of progress in this time because I was lazy. I never practiced and I never put the time and effort into it. It was only in the past 3 years that I actually started learning. And I said to myself that I'm not happy with where I am as a player. I want to get better. How do I do this? I start playing with other musicians who are better than me. Joining a band with Nasser was the biggest push I ever got. It was kind of like a competition within ourselves because I wanted to be as good as he is. You know, and I still tried. And I like playing with musicians who are on a higher skill level than me. Because that pushes me.
Which they are still thriving to be
Which
better.
They probably are looking at somebody else above them to reach that level. So it's again, this is a natural process for every musician. I'm still learning. I will never stop learning. I still am not as good of a guitarist as I would like to be today. But again, that takes time. Maybe I don't have the right kind of motivation now because I haven't been playing live much, but this will come. I still practice every day as much as I can. I want to get better. So I think having competition within musicians, within the band as well is important. Also, between bands is important. Because if you have two bands who are super comfortable, everyone's getting the same amount of shows, everyone's getting paid the same, you get lazy. You don't do something new. You don't do something different.
Don't you think it is like this nowadays here?
It is. There's no competition anymore because there is no shows happening and no one is seeing other people play and no one's seeing other people make it.
Well, there is a point that Nasser made is not some bands and promoters who only book their bands to open every show.
No, what's that again?
He's talking about the friendly competition.
Yeah. True. We have a lot of that going around as well.
And he's saying Viv is an amazing guitarist / vocalist and songwriter. Dude, you are a good vocalist as well. So many times I told you would have been that wow factor in Portable if you backed me up on the vocals. That we could have done a lot of things.
Yeah.
But sadly enough, it didn't happen, and shit happened for a reason. And Ashish is saying Nasser is a poet. Nasser is saying 0000000. It's going back to Gent. Okay. Okay. The last two. Other musicians' opinion can affect the direction of the band. Yes or no?
When you say other musicians, you mean in the band or outside?
For example, okay, you're in Portable. I'm an AKB, yeah? I'll come with my music to you and I show you my music. And you tell me that you don't like this part, you don't like this, and I need to do this and I need to do that. That does that thing, like asking help from your musician fellows, really affect the band's direction?
Yes, I think it does.
Basically, sorry to cut you off. Basically, you are not 100% about your product, and you keep asking for people's opinion. If it's okay, if we should do this, and other people just come on board like, yeah, man, you should do that. You should. I mean, you can't. I mean, like my last guest, she said, don't go and ask any other musician what to do with my dream.
Exactly. It's your dream as a musician. Again, I would not. Me being in Portable, you being in AB, you showed me your music and say, hey, Viv, here's the new demo that we worked on. I wouldn't tell you that I don't like this section, I don't like that section. You know why? Because that's disrespectful. Because you put your time, effort, and energy into making something out of nothing, okay, and you showed this thing to me. It is what you came up with. Whether it's good or bad is not for me to judge. If I don't like it, I will not tell you that. I will say, okay, maybe it's not for me, but I will never ask you to change something in it. So I don't think, no. And I don't think in the first place that you should be going and asking another person or another musician about an opinion about your music. It's a piece of art. Would you ever see an artist, a painter, show his art to like 10 people and say, what do you think about this? Do you think I should change the trees? You think I should change the color of the skies? No, he wouldn't do that because it's fucking art. It's his art. Whether you like it or don't like it, for 5 people that don't like it, there's 50 other people who might like it. There's something for everyone in this world. So I think there is no point of trying to get other people's opinion on your music. Okay, if you guys are like close friends and stuff, like I bounce off ideas with guys all the time. Like I send demos to Ashish sometimes that I've done. Even stuff for the EP, he's heard the demos before. Nasser has heard the demos. Vineet has heard the stuff. Like, and they tell me, yeah, it's cool, it's nice, you know. Vineet would give me feedback like, okay, maybe the guitars sound a bit too fizzy.
So they talk. So they talk production.
Certain, production and constructive things. These I can work on. You know, these things even I know about it, but I don't show it to them thinking that, can you please tell me if it's good? Should I change this? Should I change it? No. I just tell them, here's what it is. Let me know what you think. Is it something you would ever buy? Is it the kind of music that you would purchase? The kind of album would you buy merchandise from a guy who makes music like this or something like this? You know what I mean? But yeah, I hope that answers.
Yeah, even Nasser is saying it should be within the band and producer and manager. And then Ashish is saying I wouldn't give compositional feedback, perhaps only production
related.
Yeah, production related feedback. And Nasser is saying I wouldn't, though if it was like an arrangement thing, like I wouldn't repeat the section, etc., but only a close friend. Well, again, the thing is, like, I know some people, and you know them as well, that they kind of always hesitant about their product, and they always go back to people, you know, to those people for that they completely have no idea of what that product should sound like, and getting ideas from them, or getting directions from them. That's what I meant by this.
That's like shooting yourself in the foot. Like, you go to someone who has no idea about your art and you ask him for an opinion about it. Of course, he doesn't know anything about it. He can't help you. I think in general, musicians we need to be a bit more confident about our music and our art. In terms of songwriting, in terms of composition, in terms of arrangements. If you think it sounds good and it makes your head move, fuck yeah, I mean, why not? Go for it. Okay. I mean, dude, it's it's not an iPhone that you give out to like testers and get feedback about it. No, it's music.
It's not a survey. It's not something like a sample. Survey. Yeah. You know what? You know what? We can talk about this. This is the long ass thing, you know. So last one. Yeah. Which is very related to what we were talking about. Every band has that one guy, the Mr. Know-It-All. True or false?
Very true. Every band has one. I like how you're.
The thing is, like, I know you know who am I talking about? I know
who you're talking about because we've been in the same in that situation. We've been in a band together, and
well, that's the sad stuff that I don't like. So
but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's there's two sides to it. There's a good side to it, and there's a bad side to it. It's a balance. Okay, think about it this way. If everybody in the band agrees with everything, everything is good, all is amazing, you might have a shit idea and a shit song, okay, and everyone loves it and everyone's happy with it, and you put it out there and the world hates it. But if you have a band where you have people who like what's going on, and you have one guy who's questioning things, he's the polar opposite. He says, no, why does it have to be this way? Why can't it sound different? What can we do to make it different? You need to, for one thing to exist, you need the other one to exist as well. You need that positive and negative energy and opinion working together at the same time. That's how you come up with good ideas. That's brainstorming. It's bad. It gets bad when it goes over a certain limit. Okay, because there's always a halfway point. I might like a song, you might disagree. Okay, but at the end, we have to meet halfway if we have to move forward.
Exactly.
Right? Because if my opinion is right and your opinion is right too in your own perspective, okay, what's that gonna accomplish?
Nothing. It's just gonna be mishmash.
It's just gonna be a mishmash. The song is just gonna be abandoned, and nothing will move forward. This is where the ego thing comes into play. The question about ego. Ego should not exist. This is why I said ego should not exist, because if I think I'm right, my band member thinks he's right too. Both of us, or at least one of us, needs to have enough sense to be the bigger guy.
To compromise
and say, okay, compromise, sacrifice, meet halfway and say, okay, fine, I would be happy to change this, we can change this as per what you said, and then let's move on and let's see how it sounds then. So I think you need that. You need one guy or a few guys. Well, actually, one guy is more than enough. You need a voice of reason
Yep.
in the band. Okay, and I will even say it. In Winterburn, that voice is Nasser, or sometimes it's me, because we also have a lot of clashes of opinions about songs and ideas. It happens because it's normal. This is how human beings are. In Portable Mind, it's Gorgon, but it's not a bad thing. We take our time to write our music, and people always ask us. People ask us like, "Yeah, man, it's been so long since Portable Mind released the EP."
Exactly.
Because the last EP came out in September 2018. It's now been 2 years. Yes, it's been a while. I'm not super happy about it. I don't think the guys are either. It's just that things come up, life happens, and now this whole situation with the pandemic, and it's really slowed things down, and a lot of things, and just in general, trying to be a musician and have a day job and try to survive that and still have the energy to do music after that is in itself, I think, so hard.
It's a
But
hectic
it
schedule.
happens.
Yeah, it is a hectic.
It's a hectic schedule. I mean, dude, there are days when I come home like now at this time. It happens on busy days. It's normal. But on these days, you don't want to do anything else. On these weeks, you just want to get the weekend and just sleep. You don't want to fucking do anything else.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
but again, at that whole point, it brings out a lot of frustrations. Maybe it can indicate other things, it can, sorry, not indicate, as in like it can be the igniting point for other things. It can be that flare of someone else bursting or something else happen. But again, Vineet is saying true. Nasser is saying me. Wow. He's referring to himself as that guy. And Ashish is saying usually there is a guy who doesn't know anything about what's talking about. Exactly, man. Exactly. And Nasser
there's
is
always
saying
that guy.
Nasser is saying sometimes I'm an idiot and Vivian sees things better. Man, dude, you know what?
And vice versa.
The thing is, like, you know what? I see that combination of you and Nasser in Winterburn, it really actually work. It shows on the stage. It shows that you actually like what Nasser makes or what you guys are making together right now. You enjoy it. As you mentioned, you like this type of music, and it was a very good point, a very good place for you and a platform to join the band. And apparently you are you were that missing part that Nasser needed to help him, and you understand him, and that's the magic.
Exactly.
So
exactly. I mean, that's why we click. I mean, that's why we've been in a band together for 5 years, and I wouldn't be in a project this long if I didn't think if it's not something I didn't enjoy. Okay. Same thing with Portable. I mean, I wouldn't be in a band whose music I didn't enjoy. More than anything, you need to be friends, number one, to be in a band together. You guys need to have that understanding. And second, you need to be a fan of your own music. If you look at your music like, it's work. It's something I have to learn. Oh shit, I have to spend time. No, it's not going to work that way. You need to be excited to do your own music. Otherwise, why are you a musician? Otherwise, I know that it happens when recording an album, for instance. You listen to the song so many times that for the next few months you just don't want to listen to it anymore. There came a point even with the EP, is like I was like, I can't listen to this. I released it and I left it. I think today was the first time I heard Days of Summer, the song, after the 25th of July, since when I released the EP. I haven't heard it since then. And that's normal.
Nasser is saying Viv and I enjoy each other's company, but we love playing together. Exactly, man. That shows when you guys are playing live. That's a very good bond. So you know what? As you mentioned, the Great Escape EP. So what you think we go and check another track that calls Sacred Fire? Yeah, and we're gonna come back and we're gonna come back so you can talk about it. And before leaving, Nasser is saying, like I have fun playing guitar and singing with him. Yeah, man. That shows.
Yeah.
That shows. That shows. So, guys, we're gonna be playing "Sacred Fire" by the Greatscape EP from Vivian Dsouza, and we're gonna be back to you guys shortly. So, Viv, man, it's an awesome track, "Sacred Fire." What's the story
Yeah.
behind it, man?
Uh, okay, so I call this one Sacred Fire because it ties in with the concept of the artwork, with the album artwork. You see the fire. It's supposed to be sacred because they use it to do the ritual and the spirit dance and stuff. But originally, this song, I had a working title for it back in the day. It was called Punching Walls.
Punching walls.
Um,
Why?
so I wrote this song. It started out as just a riff, the opening riff that you hear in the song. It was supposed to be a practice riff,
Mm-hmm.
like a warm up thing,
Mm-hmm.
because there's a lot of alternate picking going on in the song.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there I used to use this riff initially before all my shows,
Mm-hmm.
and I used to, just play it backstage because all the alternate picking would get my hands really warm before I play,
Mm-hmm.
and then eventually I was like, you know what, this can be a song. This could like actually be something I could use like in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I started writing it, and I even made a playthrough video about it like a long time ago. I mean, I took it down because it wasn't, but
Why? What was the reason that you took it down?
because of the audio quality. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't bad, but it was, like I said, it was my mix from 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When I listen to it now, it's not as exciting as it is now.
Mm-hmm.
Back like, so I was not very good with like mixing and mastering music back then. So, but now it's much better. That's why I took the old one down. So I'm probably gonna make like a new one eventually. I plan to do like a music video or something
Mm-hmm.
for this. Just trying to figure out how, when, and where. Uh,
Would it be
so
anytime
yeah,
soon?
that's could be. I'm just looking for a venue, like a nice place where I can shoot it, and someone who would be willing to help me do it. I mean, I can do it myself too. I can just hook up a camera somewhere, put a chair, and just record myself playing. But I want to make it a bit more exciting than that.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, and Vineet is saying is one of his favorites of the EP.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah, a lot of people told me that they love the song. Even Ashish actually messaged me, and he loved the song, especially from more than any other ones. The coolest thing was that really it hit me. A very old school friend of mine, from when we were kids, when we were in kindergarten. His name is Devesh.
Mm-hmm.
He messaged me on WhatsApp and even on Facebook, and he sent me a video of him listening to Sacred Fire in his car.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I haven't met this guy in over, I think it's been 15 years now.
Okay.
And like, it was so nice to see like an old friend of mine still following. He bought the album, listens to the tracks, and he loves the songs. And like, it was super cool, man. Like, I'm really happy that like, all the people who heard the music, all the people who bought the album, I've received nothing but like good comments and love and a lot of respect from everybody, and I love that. I mean, it's great. It's really, I wasn't expecting that. I thought people would just like forget about it after a while.
Which you did a great
Yeah.
thing as well with the latest news about Beirut's explosion and the bombing, and
Yeah.
you dedicated all the sales of the album to the charities, which is a great
Yeah.
move, man.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's something that I don't like to talk about.
No, but I mean, I just
yeah,
wanted
but
to mention it. So.
yeah, I mean, of course, like, look, this, really something really horrible that happened. Okay, and every one of us, I'm sure we have friends and we know people who were affected by this.
Mhm.
I had 4 colleagues of mine who were in Beirut when this happened.
Yeah,
Okay,
man.
and they're not just colleagues; they're friends because they're my age, and we hang out and we're cool.
Hmm.
And the moment I saw this happen, I just texted them. I'm like, guys, are you okay? Everything fine? Thank God everyone was okay. But of course, the city is destroyed, and it's sad. Like, everything that had to go wrong in this country went wrong. And it breaks my heart because I remember being there where this whole thing happened. I was there. We were living not too far from this place when we went to play at the Metal Fest in Beirut with Descendant, and yeah, it's sad. So, and again, like I said, I did not put this EP out to get famous or to make money, because let's face it, that's not the motivation behind this. I did it because it was a personal project. It was my passion, and I'm more than happy to allocate whatever from this to the relief efforts. You know, could be not so much money, but every penny counts.
Yeah, man.
Okay,
It's
that's
yeah, it's a super great
yeah,
gesture from you,
yeah,
and
yeah,
just to the thing is like about the EP when I heard it, it just felt like I'm just with you in a jamming room and I can. It's like I heard these riffs, for
that's because
me,
you have.
because first intro riff and I'm like, wait a second, this is way Vivian. It's like I could see that Vivian in the album in the EP, and
Yeah,
that's what I think it. You like I'm how to say it. I was like I'm proud that you could put your your exact touch that you wanted into this EP and present it, and it's showing. It's
yeah,
it's so much Vivian Dsouza, and because I know you, I've been in the jamming session with you, and we
yeah,
jammed a lot of times. We jammed, and that's the feeling I got from the Great Escape,
yeah,
and it's I'm happy that you did this. To be honest with you,
yeah,
it,
yeah. I
it,
mean,
it
me too, man. I'm super glad. I mean, I wanted this EP to sound like me.
mhm,
It's the kind of style that I like to play.
mhm,
Okay. Yes, I play in a progressive rock, metal, post-rock band,
mhm.
Portable Mind, and I also play in a hard rock, heavy rock band called Winterburn. But I also like something in between, which is the more of the blues, which is a combination of both.
Mhm.
You know. So if you listen to some sections in the song, there are some progressive elements. Very few. It's very minor, but you can hear them. There are some um, um, not odd time signatures, but like some things with like polyrhythmic
Mhm. Mhm.
riffs that happen in
Mhm.
some, like in Days of Summer, for example. There's one, not really polyrhythmic, but like it's a bit more progressive, and I like adding these elements. Um,
So what
but
is
you know
the
what the biggest,
yeah?
uh,
Tell me. What is the biggest fear?
yeah, the biggest fear that I had, and which was one of the reasons why I also didn't want to release the EP for a long time, release
Mhm.
my music for a long time.
Mhm.
I was always afraid that someone one day would come up to me and tell me, this song sounds like something I've heard.
Man.
This song sounds like a ripoff of something that I've heard. Or this song sounds like it's a copy of something. You know, it happens. I mean, that was
Referring
one of my,
referring to that guy. Okay.
yeah. I mean, look, uh, I was really afraid about this, but again, I got over that
Mhm.
whole thing, and something that I realized um, over the course of being a musician for how many ever years that I've been, there is nothing new under the sun. Okay,
Exactly.
we are now almost 190 to 100 years in I would say a modern era of technology and music, of recorded music.
Mhm.
There have been millions of songs, millions, it could be even a billion songs, I don't know.
Million
Okay,
and millions.
billions and billions of songs and things, yeah. And it's possible that some songs have similar sounding tones and similar sounding riffs.
Mhm.
Happens. Some do it more blatantly and just rip it off. Okay. Some get inspired by it and try to make it their own. Okay.
Mhm.
It's like saying, which is a fact, Black Sabbath has written every heavy metal riff that's ever been that you hear nowadays.
Mhm.
Every band
Exactly.
that writes, every heavy metal band now or after that came after Sabbath, they all their riffs are a variation of what Tony Iommi did,
Mhm.
which to an extent is true because they were the pioneers. They're the ones that came up with this
Yeah, they
whole
paved. Yeah,
power.
they just
They
paved the.
paved the way. They
Yeah.
paved the way. So anything that anyone else did after that, okay, would definitely be compared, or would people would point fingers and say that it sounds similar.
Mhm.
Um, but you know what? All the musicians that came after them were also amazing, and there are still great musicians now that are fresh bands that are out there that are playing. Um, they sound unique. Yes, you can hear similarities. You can hear hints of things that you must have heard from other bands. Like I could listen to a song and say, okay, this sounds like Killswitch Engage, or this sounds like a Metallica riff, or this sounds like something else, or like a Tool riff. Okay. Um, but what can you do? I mean, you don't you no one human being can be a database for all music, to know every piece of music that exists and try to not copy it. Just do your own thing.
Which even Maynard mentioned it, like by now it just feels like everyone is stealing from each other.
From each other, and it's a cycle now. Everyone's coming back to the same thing, and the whole cycle is going to repeat itself, or something like this. It happens. If you do it intentionally and copy a riff word to word, or copy a piece of music word to word, that's wrong, of course. And there's laws in place to protect the guy who wrote that song first, of course. But if you like, I'm a big Iron Maiden fan. Okay. I'm a fan of Iron Maiden. I'm a fan of Metallica. I'm a fan of a lot of other modern bands as well. And this kind of music that I write, it's kind of influenced by all of these guys. There's few elements from everybody. They're flavors. Let's put it this way. They're flavors, okay, from each guy. And you just need to find a way to take the best of each one, what really inspires you and what you enjoy listening to and playing, okay, and just mold into a nice little package that you can present. I can't put it in any simpler way than that, I think. Yeah, that's what I think.
The thing is, like, it's always that inspiration part that it comes in. Like, for example, like, you might write something that sounds like another band, but for me personally, I don't see that as a problem. As in, like, okay, you know what, you can take it as a tribute. I'm like, I'm so in love with that band. Again, it's something very personal. You can you're trying to be inspired. You're gonna be like either you're inspired or you've just been like so in love with that specific track that riff that you made. It just sounds like that. But that's why I think they made those, like, they started labelizing stuff, which
true.
which, you know what? It's a good segue that. But you know what, guys? Whoever's still watching, thank you very much for sticking around. Tell us what you guys think. As in, like, is this thing? It's a huge, let's say, a mistake, or it's not a mistake, or it's just some creative department that every artist lands in it, and they end up over there for a while and until they find their way out. So tell us what you guys think in the comment section. Just I want to get the people who are still watching engaged in this conversation. So for
I mean, I have some thoughts on this.
Please go ahead, man.
What I don't like is when you can be inspired by a piece of music or a piece of art, and you can say it. You can say, okay, I've written this song and it was inspired by Iron Maiden. That's why it sounds like an Iron Maiden song. It's a tribute. Okay. I'll give you a good example. Again, this is from a very niche band that only me and Nasser know about, and a few other people. Let's say there's a band that we both like. It's called Night Demon. Okay, they're I think they're I'm not sure if they're from LA or they're from the Bay Area. I'm not too sure. Anyway, but they're from California basically. Okay, and they are a new wave of classic heavy metal. Okay, similar style like Iron Maiden and the guys that came in that whole new wave of British heavy metal style, right? Like Iron Maiden, Priest, Saxon, all these guys. I think their second release, okay, it sounded like an Iron Maiden album. And some riffs were actually almost very similar to Iron Maiden, but they weren't dicks about it. The names of the songs were inspired from Iron Maiden lyrics, and they even said it that this album is a tribute to Iron Maiden. Okay. Well, on the other hand, you have a band like Greta Van Fleet,
Okay.
this Generation Y, Z, I don't know what it's called, Generation Z band, kids um, sound exactly like Led Zeppelin. Everybody says they sound like Led Zeppelin. This lead singer literally sounds like he came out of Robert Plant's nutsack. Okay. And when they're interviewed about this and they say, "Are you inspired by Led Zeppelin?" They're like, "No, not at all." Like, what the fuck?
But there might be that chance, Viv. Maybe. Like, who knows? I
Dude,
mean, like, okay, you know what? Okay, let's reflect on our music. You know,
yeah,
I'm sure
yeah,
your EP sounds like someone else, but you've
for
never
sure,
heard about them. Maybe you never heard
for
about
sure,
them.
for sure.
Maybe I mean, so many times AKB got like so many like every time everyone's like, you guys are just Limp Bizkit wannabes, which
Mm,
we don't want to be Limp Bizkit wannabes, but it's just that
yeah,
the stuff that we grew up with, I think the anger in the AKB music is indicating that we are Limp Bizkit wannabes, but we are not
yeah,
trying to approach
yeah,
that reputation. So that's my question. Do
yeah.
you think that that um, I'm sure that thing is there that they might not they were not trying to sound like Led Zeppelin, or your music is not trying to sound
Yeah,
like
but
anyone.
true. But if me as Vivian says that I don't, if my album sounds like someone else's album, okay, someone who is not famous, it's fine because I'm not famous. That guy's not famous either. But a band like Greta Van Fleet cannot say that they don't sound anything like Led Zeppelin. They are not inspired by Led Zeppelin when all of their music sounds like Led Zeppelin.
And even
It
their
is
looks.
even the looks, even the style of playing on stage, the whole thing with the bare feet thingy and the drummer's kit, even his drum kit. It's fine. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Just do it in the right way. The the music is good. I know a lot of people hate this band because they say they're Led Zeppelin wannabes. Look, they're a good band. The guitarist is tight. The whole band as a unit is tight. The lead singer has a good voice. And I'm not hating on the band, okay? I was just giving an example about when they were interviewed about this thing. The whole thing about being inspired by someone and denying that you were inspired by them. It's fine to be inspired by someone. It's natural. You only look up to your heroes. You learn from them. I wouldn't be a musician
Exactly.
that I am today. I wouldn't be writing this kind of music if I wasn't inspired by listening to Iron Maiden or to Priest or to Zeppelin or Pink Floyd and all these guys.
Which Ashish made a comment as well. We imitate out idols till we reach to a stage where we can express ourselves. Exactly. Is that I
Exactly,
think
yeah.
it's like you need to anyway, like any other thing, you need an sample or an example so you can
Yeah.
understand what is the concept and you can make something like that. But if you end up, as you said, copying it word by word, that's just like copying someone else's homework. Then yes,
Yeah.
then that debate is open. You can just talk about it. But when it sounds like it's just that uh, still that small 1 or 2% of this elitist that they still come down and dissect the whole thing. No, you sound like that band and you are that band. No, it's just like which you know what it's a very good section to talk about. This is like the music industry, okay, the music industry in general,
Yeah.
and the one that we kind of have in Dubai.
Yeah.
Do you think
Yeah. Sorry.
that's the thing.
I wouldn't call it so much as an industry as I don't know. I don't know what to call it over
I
here,
mean,
but
I
okay,
mean,
anyway,
exactly,
sorry.
exactly. That's what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah.
Do we even have an industry, or even, okay? Let's assume we have an industry with the tiny bands that we have, with that few promoters that they're actually doing a great job. A shout out to Jabber, Josin, and Motassem from Middle East. These guys are doing it very well. There was other promoters as well, like Ryan Naro from Main Stage. There is Vinesh Nair from the Musicians United. I mean, still, we have that promoters that they're still trying their best to make very solid shows.
Yeah.
So let's assume we have a music industry.
Let's
I,
assume.
I want two sides from you. two takes. The international level music industry, what's the problems with it? And do we have the similar problems with the music scene that we have?
Okay.
How do you see it? Like,
I won't talk about. I won't start with the local thing. That's because that's a whole another specific topic. Let's talk about international music scene in general. Okay, what's going on nowadays? I mean, when was the last time you heard of a big metal or rock band that sold that got to a level as famous and as big as Metallica or AC/DC or Zeppelin or on that level today? I'm talking 2020. You know,
trying to think.
you may have some that would have reached a certain level of success, but they never became as famous as these guys before. Okay, reason is simple. Back in the day, there were bands, but there were not that many bands that were so good. Okay, and the whole music in general was different. Again, this is before the internet, before Napster, before all this social media, and before everything was offline. You know, if you had a band in the 70s or in the 60s or whatever it was, okay, out of your mom's garage, you would try to play in a local bar or in an all ages places or whatever. You have a demo tape, a tape that you make in your garage or wherever it is, and you distribute this stuff among the crowd, and this is how you build a fan base. And you start playing more shows in your town, and then in your city, and then in another city, and then in different states and so on. And if you were lucky, you got picked up by a label who goes to one of these shows or to one of these bars, okay, and you get a deal, you record music, and you whatever ABCD happens. Music industry, from what I understand in the past, was quite different from what it is now, because I see a lot of bands now everywhere who're still chasing this dream about having a record label, having a record deal. I know a few guys, not here, but in another, somewhere else. I asked them, I said, what's your goal? Like, what's your plans? What do you want to do? Like, I want to get a record deal, man. Okay, why? Why can't you just do it independent? Yeah, because I want to get famous. I want to make good money from my music.
Basically,
like,
he wants to jump the 10 steps in one go.
He wants to go in one go, and he thinks that having a record label backing you up is going to do this. But I mean, look at the reality. Okay, from bands that we know, that in the international bands that we know, and there's been documentaries about this. Okay, musicians and bands I've been fucked over by record labels all over the world for decades now, and it still happens now, and the artist doesn't end up making any money. From what I understand, how it works is, say you have a band and a record label decides to pick you up. They think you have potential and they want to invest money in you and so on. You get an advance, which will be, say, $100,000, okay, which pays for your bills and for your things and this and that. Then they pay for recording your album. Again, you have a specific time to do this. Depending on the deal that you have to either do one album or two albums or three albums within a specific time span. You have 2 years, and you have to pump out like 3 records or 2 records during this time. And you have all the other costs of the rehearsal costs, and then the cost for the merchandise and cost for printing, distribution. So many things. And eventually, when your album does go on sale, let's say on the off chance that you do end up selling 1 million albums as a band or as a solo artist, depending on what kind of deal you have, I think almost 80% of that album sale goes to the record label to recover the initial money that they put into you.
The whole investment.
But it's not just that. So what most record labels now are doing, have been doing, is something called a 360 deal. Okay, so they not only have rights on your album sales, but even on your merchandise, maybe 15% or 20%. Okay. On anything that you sell as a band, if you do a tour, ticket sales, they get 25%. Okay. Like they get a cut out of every single thing to recover all the costs, not only for the upfront payment, but also for the recording cost plus the distribution cost. And in most cases, if you do the math, the artist ends up owing the label money.
Basically, you're paying money from your pocket.
You're basically paying money from your pocket, or you're in debt to the record label, where you kind of become a slave, and you have to keep touring, and you have to keep playing shows and keep pumping out records, which also increases your cost even more. And from whatever little money that the artist gets in the end, is whatever it is, 10 or 15%, he has to pay his road crew, his audio guy, pay for his equipment. He's lucky if he's endorsed by guitar brands or whatever instrument brands and so on. But there's so many fucking costs. How does a musician make money? You know, this is why most musicians nowadays are going solo. They're going on their own independent name or independent label. They're not affiliated with these big record labels. Okay. And now, speaking about post-internet, when everything's happened, now you have the streaming services online. You put an album out there and you can reach billions of people across the world. So in theory, out of the billion people, even if a small percentage of them actually buy the album, out of 7 billion people in this earth, if a small percentage of them buy the album, that's a few $1 million, right? Or give or take. Why isn't if it's that much?
Yeah.
Say 50,000. Okay, $5 per album, whatever. Why is the artist not getting that money? Till now. I'm talking about the famous guys, or even semi-famous. They don't, because streaming services fuck you over. You get paid 0.0005 something, nothing per stream, or per 100 streams, or something like this. Okay, maybe a band that has, I don't know, like a 1.5 million streams on Spotify might get paid $3,000.
That's not even close.
That's not even, dude, that doesn't even cover rent for 2 months.
It's basically it's one of these things. Whatever you get, you need to invest again in your own thing. Just keep just keep the cash flow and the cycle going on.
Exactly. So when I think about these things, I mean, I start to wonder, like, is it really worth being a musician anymore? Like, say you don't have, and there's another perspective to this whole thing. The guys who actually somehow do get a record deal, or do get somewhat famous, or get like the right kind of shows and the right kind of things, opportunities, that also happens because they have connections. They know the right people in the right places. Not everybody knows that. I don't know anybody. I don't have any wasta over here. Okay, I have friends in the scene. Okay, but I don't really know anyone who can help me, like, book my band in a festival, for example, or get me in touch with an agent or a PR company, or anyone to get me somewhere, to get my foot in the door, so I can move on somewhere with my music. I don't know anyone like this. Okay, but there are people like this over here who are influential, and they know which direction to push you in. Okay, but it doesn't. You need to be in that circle. You need to be in that crew. You need to know them personally, or whatever it is, and then it works. The click. It's the click, exactly. It's the click. Every scene has one. Dubai has one. Every place has one. You need to know somebody who knows somebody, or someone who works in the company that can help you with all this stuff. Okay, so is it really worth being a musician now? You invest so much time and effort and money. Now let's bring it down to the local scene. Okay. Back in the sorry.
What a bad move, man.
That was a bad move. Back in the day, let's say 10 years ago, you had a lot of bands in the scene, right?
Hmm. Yeah,
Even up until
we were a lot.
it were a lot. It was a big, even up until 2017, still before the music room shut down. There was still a decent amount of bands over here and a lot of people, a lot of bands that are. How many actually made it? When I say made it, I mean they got out, they stayed out, they kept putting out music, they kept touring, and they became semi-famous. I'm saying semi-famous. I mean, like, because when I say semi-famous, I mean you Google them and they find
Yeah.
articles and things and interviews and videos on YouTube and all, live music video. You know what I mean? This whole thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like if I Google Metallica, how many bands from Dubai or from this scene can you Google today and find like an entire Wikipedia about them? Maybe a few, maybe Nerf Cell.
Yeah,
Nerf Cell has
Nerf,
been
yeah.
doing this. They've been doing this for 20 years, and like mad respect to these guys. Like, I would say they made it. Again, the definition of making it may be different for everybody.
Which
Okay,
they
but they
hustled,
made
man.
it.
They
They
hustled
hustled.
so hard.
It wasn't. Yeah, I can imagine it. It wasn't easy for these guys, and I've been following them on. I know Rami personally.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I've been following him on his social media, and I've been looking at their videos on Facebook, YouTube, and on Instagram and stuff. Man, they were touring non-stop, non-fucking stop. Okay, it becomes like a job at one point. Like it was really
Exactly.
one day after the other. I mean, that wouldn't have been easy. And also think about it this way: no one's paying for that shit for them. They're funding the whole thing themselves. It's coming out of their pocket, and God knows. I hope to God that they did make that money back. But what if they didn't?
They even got
You
their
know,
gear stolen in one of the
even got
festivals.
their gear stolen. Exactly. I mean, that's the cherry on the top of all the
Yeah, even
of
yeah,
the
yeah,
shit that's
yeah,
piled up.
yeah. I was talking
You
to
know?
Barney, and Barney said like, dude, sometimes they just make like what $500, and that five hundred
Yeah.
dollars goes to like the fuel and the food and transport and stuff like this. He said
Yeah.
sometimes we need to even pay the drummer, because they don't have a full-on member. So he said there is a lot of
For your
things.
session players,
Yeah,
exactly.
he said there is a lot of things behind the curtain that some people in Dubai scene they're talking so big about
Yeah.
that. Yeah, we know how to do it, but he said,
Yeah.
please, by all means, try to walk in our
Yeah.
shoe for like
Exactly.
for a month, and I will see how you guys cope up. Because the
Yeah.
way they've done it, it was back in the days. There was not much of like as I said, it was the peak. It was not even the peak. It was the early days of the PR, and he said he used to
Yeah.
like call record labels and get agencies and like after he's done with his set, he goes back to the merch stand and he's like
Yeah.
following up. He's like, literally, Nerf Cell is a company. It's a business. You need to run it. It's just like crazy, man. But when once,
Exactly.
yeah. So carry on. You were saying about the whole Dubai scene.
Yeah. So when I look at an example, Ashish is like drummers
Drummers
get paid.
Oh my god, man! Look at
Some,
it. The
some
meme, that meme, like the GIF he said, but I love that
some
movie.
of them actually do, Ashish, and I wonder why. No, I'm just kidding. Well, I have to show you guys this, like my love for drummers. So I'm not sure if you guys can read this.
Smarter than your drummer. I mean, man, it's just a.
I just hate. I don't mean it.
The thing is, like, what I feel about the Dubai scene is that they have good intentions, but I think they are using the wrong combination.
Look, I'll say it straight up now. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Um, bands over here, myself, my bands included, and myself included, we need to get our head out of our ass.
Exactly.
Okay. We're nobody. We are nobody. And bands over here, they walk around acting like they're some hot shit. Like they've played a bunch of shows here and they have some cool videos online and they have they have maybe a single out, and they have this and they have that, and they have these small little things, which every local band does. Okay.
Mm.
And they walk around demanding respect and demanding things like there's some big ass international act. You haven't done shit. Sorry to say, you haven't done shit.
Mm.
You still think like you're a local musician. And this is the problem even I face with my bands. We're trying to we're trying to work on this and try to get out of this mindset that we are a Dubai-based band, that we are a local band. No, sorry, we're not a local band. Okay.
Mm.
The moment I said this to you yesterday, the moment you put any piece of music out there on a streaming platform or on Bandcamp or on YouTube, you're already catering to an international audience.
You're already part of these people.
You are already a part of an international roster of musicians. I say roster, but it's not a roster, but whatever.
Roster.
You know what I mean. Okay.
Wrestling match roster.
Stop thinking local, start thinking international, and take all the steps and decisions for your band to stay international.
Mhm.
That's really important. Yeah, I think in general, musicians over here, they need to get out of this thing. They need to get out of this mindset that we are a Dubai band and we want to be big in this scene. And no, think differently. There is no music industry here, dude.
Mhm.
There is a music industry here, but it's catered to a specific type of music. It's either for DJs, okay, or it's for cover bands, or it's for Arabic fusion bands that play in bars.
That's what I said. That's why I said that it's
Yeah.
it like, it's
That's the music industry.
yeah,
Yeah.
the thing is like that's why we are like it feels because that side it's actually they're making something with this whole thing, but on our side because we are not getting that recognition, we are in kind of a race with each other. And
Yeah.
again, as just to relate to your point, we need to get our head off out of our asses because it's you are very proud of your product. You are proud that it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be welcomed by everyone. But again, there is somehow that part of the scene that they only gather together. They only push each other's stuff. I mean, Nasser can agree with me on this, and he's back and he's saying you guys are still here. Shit, Lil.
We're talking about the click now.
Yeah, and he's saying, yeah, a group of friends who come from one nationality. We are not. I'm not trying to blame them. You know what? I was telling this to a lot of my friends, and I think I've talked to Viv about this as well. It's like, what? Kudos to them. They're doing it very well. It's very good strategy, and it's working, but it's not helping the scene because everyone is preaching. Everyone is preaching is like, yeah, we're doing it for the scene, but the action is not for the scene. Is much more of, hey, look at me, man, I'm presenting this, I'm this, I'm that. Me as a musician in this scene, I swear to God, I was never that guy. Please look at me. I always wanted to be that guy. You know what? I am part of this scene. I even told you this, Viv. Like back, if someone come to us and say, man, what other bands are there? I will say there is Nasser Mr. I, there is Bengali, there is Nerve Cell, there is Ascendant, there is AKB, there is there is this, there is this, there is this. Look, we have so many variety of bands. It's not only one. We can actually, we need to put ourselves on the map. Look us up.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
the mentality is not like that. It's because of that group of friends that they hang around, and that's why I said they're not up for the debate. When you open up with this shit, they tell you, no, man, this is only you seeing this shit like this. That's the frustration part, because I can have this conversation with you.
Yeah.
We can disagree, but we reach to a point, we reach to a conclusion that there is something wrong and something should be changed for this boat to move forward. But sadly enough, no one is. And man,
no, I do agree that there is a certain group of individuals or a group of people who are in a position where they can influence and they can make things happen for bands, but they choose to do it only for certain bands who are their friends.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, which is understandable to a certain extent. If I was in a position of power, I would help my friends too,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm a nice guy. But
We all of us are nice guys, man.
yeah, okay, but that doesn't. Yeah, you're right. That doesn't help the scene. Okay, um, I don't know what the solution to this is. Like, either we need more of these people, and not just one guy, or like one group of people that's catering to only one group of whatever
Mm-hmm.
friends and
Mm-hmm.
bands or whatever. Maybe we need more promoters now again. Now, who are the promoters left? We have maybe a handful of them. Maybe there's 2 promoters or 3 promoters left. We used to have at least 5 or 6 back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
and who used to cater to a variety of different styles of music.
Mm-hmm.
Not just the metal guys, but even the rock, hard rock, the funk guys, the soul, R&B guys, and you had and the acoustic guys as well. You had a lot of them back in the day,
You
but
had
now
Abo, you had Abo, you
you
have,
had Abo.
yeah,
Exactly.
you have like
This
the
guy did so much for the scene, man. Like, I love him. I've met
so
him only a few
underrated,
times, but
so
so
underrated guy,
underrated. Exactly.
super underrated, very
Exactly.
talented guy,
Yeah.
super down to earth. I enjoyed every
Yeah.
time I talked to him, but
Yeah.
sadly it was I think he got stuck in that loop. When he came down to the music scene, he understood how this shit works. Because you know what, we
Yeah.
all come in with the expectation, and suddenly we just get that bam in the face. It's like, man, no,
Yeah.
welcome to the Fight Club. This is not what it is. It's a business. I am in a race with you. Which, dude, just keep in mind. Maybe I'm not looking for competition. Maybe I just want to do it for the love of the thing. And Nasser is on a rampage. He's saying, just name them, say who. The solution is we start doing our own thing and screw those douchebags. Abo is a
Mm.
lovely guy. Yeah, man, dude, exactly. Now that's why you see Viv doing his shit. That's why you see yourself doing your own shit.
Yeah.
That's sad. That's sad when we cannot say that we don't have a scene. You know, we
Yeah.
just have a broken scene whenever there is international band or that specific band is playing. Everyone's showing up. You know, it's always
Yeah.
been
So
like this.
that's another issue, okay, that I noticed since the music room days and even when the El Barrio days.
Mhm.
Same thing. Uh, um, and that has to do even with the scene. When I say a scene, I mean the people who are the people supporting the scene as well. It's not just about the organizer, okay?
Mhm.
And now I'll be more specific. Let's talk about the events that were happening, okay, where you had, I think it was Joe Scene or it was Metal East, where they would get an international band to come and play in Dubai, okay, which is amazing. We need more of that. Okay, so
Exactly.
please don't stop doing that. And they would book either one opening act on the bill or two opening acts which are from the local scene to do that. Okay, and this would happen maybe in the past at least once a month, and in the later days maybe once every 2 months or once every 3 months, depending on how they could do it. But now, I mean, uh, people used to only come for those shows because of the international acts, and we've played some of these shows, in fact, as portable.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if it was with Nasser as well. I can't remember, but I think we have. No one shows up in the beginning, dude. Like, even though you have a slot for 9 p.m., which is not a bad slot to start off,
Mm-hmm.
there's no one there. Like, no one comes. People come in only for the international guys. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Or more people come in. Keep that aside. The week after that, when you have a show that's only with local bands, only with Dubai-based bands, nobody shows up. Maybe 5 people showed up. This happened with Aramaic, I think. Right? Or am I mistaking it with someone else?
I'm not
Was it
sure exactly which gig you're talking about, to be honest to you.
I can't remember because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, it was Aramaic that they played an opening slot for an international band that came to play here. And the week after that, they had their own show, but they were playing a part of them and another local band. and like 5 people showed up or 10 people showed up. So
I remember
this
Surge.
happened
Yeah, I
last year.
remember Surge was
Surge
Surge was
was
talking about it.
ranting about this on Facebook, and he was right to do so, because fuck all these people who say we support you, we support the scene, but they don't show up to your gigs. Okay,
Well,
like they can pay. These guys would rather go and spend 500 dirhams in a bar on a weekend chilling with their friends. They wouldn't pay $100 to go and watch, or even 70 dirhams to pay an entrance fee to go and watch a local band play. People who are they're friends with, people who they want to go and who they need to be supporting. So it's not just the organizers. It's a whole system that's fucked up. Okay, the organizers do these things in a certain way. Of course, now if I was Metal East Records, okay, I would pick a band. I would bring an international band because that pulls in crowd, because people know them. They will sell tickets. Fair enough. Okay, I would only put in an opening act if it fits the music. One, two, if they're people who I know, if they're my friends, okay, fine. It makes it easier for me to work with them. Okay, and yeah, and they would know them, so they can expect that, okay, they will bring their own crowd. They would pull in their own people because they have some people, friends, and people who support them and stuff. But if I were Metal East Records, I would not invest or in a band or bring a band that no one's ever heard of to come and play in that kind of a show. So as a newcomer band now, say in the year 2020, Vivian Dsouza has a new band that's never played a show in Dubai before. Fresh band. I go up to an organizer and say, hey, you have a show coming up where you're getting an international act. I would like to be an opening act for your show. He would say, fuck you. Who are you? Why would I put you there when nobody knows you? You're not going to be able to get people in to buy tickets, to spend money at the bar, buy merchandise.
yeah,
Why
you
would I
cannot.
put
Yeah,
you over there?
yeah, you
So
cannot
there's
draw
another,
people.
yeah. So we can blame, we can point fingers on both sides at everybody, but everybody is wrong here.
Exactly.
There's
I mean,
wrong. There's a problem with the people supporting the scene. There's a problem with the way things have been, the organizers do the shows and organize things. There's a problem with the bands and the attitudes. Okay, and there's a problem with this entire clique.
Exactly, and that's what Nasser is like explaining a lot, and he's saying there wasn't there was an international there was an international band flying in, and the promoter puts up a competition on the bands that gets most votes to open. We are in the top three, and so was your band. I don't know which band you're talking about, Nasser. Please elaborate on that. And he's saying the promoter's band. That's the blatant conflict of the interest. So man, he's just keep commenting. So he's saying, so we were screwed and pulled out. We played one show and we had a decent turnout, but apparently asking the promoter to stick to what was agreed on for a month prior to the gig resulted in us never getting a gig with them again, and then using their influences to create drama for our band, which I will discuss when I'm on. Oh, Jesus. Okay, and he's saying I disagree with that. If your band is good enough, he should give you a short slot. Bottom
True.
of the
Also,
bill.
yeah. Also true. Also true. Sorry, Vineet corrected
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
It
it was
wasn't
verdict.
Aramaic.
Yeah,
It was
yeah, it was
verdict. Yeah,
verdict.
my bad.
And
Sorry.
he's saying if he knows you and you have reputation for putting you on on quality show. Oh, he's saying AKB. Which show you're
Yeah,
talking about that we were on the voting system? Because we were on
I
2 or 3, I think.
I can't remember
Man,
this
I
one,
mean, again,
but
man,
maybe
back on AKB's thing, man, we had so much heat on our ass because of all these type of things as well. I mean,
yeah.
again, we had to deal with it, and like we had to we actually came back to ourselves like, man, where did we go wrong? We are just being part of you guys. Why this shit is happening? Why this politics shit? Man, we are not looking for politics. We don't fucking like this shit. That's what I'm trying to say all the time to the musicians in the UAE. We should not talk politics. We are all in this together. But sadly enough, again, as I mentioned it earlier in the session, no one wants to sit down and dissect this thing and talk in details, because apparently they lose their shit, or because you're not talking and you're not saying the stuff that they want to hear. So
Yeah,
they just
exactly.
get.
Or your opinion clashes with their opinion, and then it becomes a taboo to
Man,
talk about it.
I hope this whole thing finishes off as you know what, I'm really looking forward to how this thing will come back after this pandemic, when the shows are actually
Yeah.
like, let's see who's going to be the first guy to announce a show that they're bringing in an international band and there's local
I
bands are
know,
playing.
and I know what's gonna happen. You, me, and Nasser are gonna be banned from the scene for
No, man,
speaking about this shit now.
dude, you know what? If we gonna be banned, that means what
That
we
means
are
we were
saying.
right.
Yeah, that means what we are saying, that there is a click, there is a click. But as much as I hate to, not like I hate to say that word, that there is a click, but I don't want to say that there is a click, but apparently there is. Dude, there is a lot of indication. There is so many, how to say, there's so many examples and ways to indicate things that happening. Dude, I don't know. There is a saying in Persian, what type of wet wood I sold to you that you're in heat with me. You get it. You get the, it's like,
Yeah.
so it's just like, super fucked up. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to be that guy. So don't
Yeah.
manifest, like, and
Yeah.
try to put words in my mouth that I am that guy. No one is that guy. We're all being part of this together. So don't keep pushing one band and be a dick to other. Just let's all work together, because at the end
Yeah.
of the day, when the beauty is that Dubai has variety of bands. We have promoters that they actually pushing for each band. And Nasser is
Exactly.
again on is like, man, I'm sorry, but I used to be playing safe and trying to make amends. But these guys are assholes that cannot handle someone standing their ground. They're unprofessional, and they can't handle you calling them out. So that's why our band decided we don't. Wait, there is more to it. We don't do things on our own terms. These are
Yeah, we do
two,
things on
yeah,
our terms.
these
Yeah.
are two clicks, and I
Yeah.
can literally name them. Please don't, man. It's just like, it's the thing that we all know. We all know. We don't need to name drop. It's just that I don't know when that
Yeah,
realization kicks in.
that's not the point of this whole conversation as well. That's
Yeah,
not the point of the whole thing.
we're not
The
here to
the
point
point,
fingers,
yeah,
man.
yeah. It's just someone has to talk about these things, okay? Because these are realities of our life, of our lives as musicians over here. Okay, we're not gonna go anywhere if this shit keeps continuing. Okay, if people hold grudges and people have this whole favoritism and wasta and this and
Yeah, yeah,
that,
the
it
whole.
doesn't work this way. You cannot have a music scene like this. A music scene doesn't work this way.
Doesn't work,
You
man.
know?
I'm so happy when, like, for example, my guest from the last episode, Latoya, she was asking me off
Yeah,
air, is like, what artists you guys have from Dubai, dude? I mentioned Noon, I mentioned Bullfunk Zoo, I mentioned,
yeah,
there was bands that they were active like Sandwash, Nicotine.
yeah.
There is Empty Art Experiment, there is Nerve Cell. We have different variety, and she was like, giving me that face. It's like, oh, really? So, she's because
Why
she's
have I never heard of them?
no, the thing is, like, because she's from that side of the world,
Yeah,
they
true.
have a different idea of us on this side.
Exactly.
And it's shocking for her to know that there is such bands. Noon is an infusion of Oriental, Arabic music mixed up with jazz, mixed up with progressive stuff. Empty Art Experiment. It was the first band that fucking introduced visuals while they were playing live, and they did it in so many fucking ways, and it was so phenomenal.
Yeah,
And you had
yeah,
like Nerve Cell, the most extreme band in Dubai. They made it.
yeah,
They are, let's say they're semi-famous. They are famous. They played huge ass shows. They played a lot
yeah,
of Rock am Rings and stuff like this. You got Nasser. You guys played in like Comic Con and stuff like this. Me with
yeah,
Nicotine, we opened up for Nickelback and stuff like. The
yeah,
chances are there. The opportunity is there. Th- I'm not.
yeah,
I'm not disagreeing. You don't need to know the good connections. Yes, good connections will work for you, but
yeah.
don't be that guy that overshadowing other talent just because you have the connection, and don't
And
act
just because you want
tough.
to help some friends, exactly,
Yeah, and don't act
exactly.
tough because you just had a one-off show which man, it's you know what, we talked a lot. This is gonna open a can of worms, which I think already opened up a can of worms. And again, I'm not here to stir up any shit. Vivian is not here to stir up any shit. Nasser is not
I'm
here
here
to
to
stir.
promote my EP. What the fuck? Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I think we drifted away a little bit, but again, man,
That's okay.
you
But
know
that's
what? But
okay.
again, we had to talk a bit about this because we are from the scene, and we as musicians, we need to help. And you
Exactly.
being one of the guys who are active in the scene lately, and you entered it in like midway, and you entered it like you were in the new era.
Yeah, you can say that. And so I have a fresh set of eyes. I
Yeah,
haven't seen all the history of this thing, but so I'm looking at it from an outsider's perspective.
which
Okay,
you
which
are.
I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm already am an outsider,
Yeah,
which is, but it's fine. Uh, I get to see things with a more in a more clear perspective, and I can easily pinpoint and tell you who is right and who is wrong.
exactly.
You know.
But
So
just to add up something, man. If you go and talk to Barney, if you see the session that I had with
yeah,
Barney,
yeah,
none of this stuff was like this back in the days. It was much more chilled. It was much more fun with the all ages gigs, with even the music room gigs. Everyone had good memories. Everyone was just, enjoying their time. Everyone was helping out. Everyone was there for the love of this whole fucking
yeah.
community. But nowadays it's much more of like, man, my band is making it. You want to listen to my stuff, you know what? You know what? Let's cut this stuff. You know what? I always ask my guests at the end of the show, man, what's next for Vivian Dsouza?
Ooh, what's next? Well, I do plan to. Well, now that I've put the first EP out, I do plan to work on the next one. Um, I'm still deciding whether it should be an EP or a full-length album. And there's a lot of other things that I want to do differently next time. For instance, this EP was done the recording process was done very, very quick.
Mm-hmm.
So I did everything on using VSTs, good VSTs. I was using the neural DSP stuff, which is killer, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Any guitarist planning to like record stuff or should really check it out. But I didn't have access to a drummer or a studio with a drummer, so I had to program all the drums myself on Get Good Drums, which is, I know, huge taboo for many people using not real drums, but hey, I had to work with the limitations that I had.
Mm-hmm.
But the next one for sure, I mean, I've already almost finished writing it, because I started writing the next EP immediately after I finished mixing this one,
Mm-hmm.
because I wanted to take a break from it. And then I went in. So I have the demos ready already. These are all demos that I worked on, but now I've started writing more stuff for it, and I think I'm almost done. So hopefully by the end of the year, if time and money permits, I will put out another EP, which I'm really looking forward to, because it's going to be a different style of music. It's not going to be similar to the one that you heard now.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be more on the lines of a bit more heavier, borderline metal, but also more progressive and more ambient stuff. Because this is the kind of music I also love to play, is this ambient progressive music,
Mm-hmm.
with a lot of crazy feel and like these little small clean acoustic sections. This kind of music basically. So yeah, that's one thing on my books. The other plan, of course, with my band Portable Mind, we plan to do the next album, which people have been asking about for a very long time. Again, we've been writing the new EP, the new album EP, whatever it might end up being. It's not easy, man, because it's not like
I've been there. I know.
you've been there.
Yeah.
Every song is like designed to be minimum 8 or 9 minutes. It's like it's a whole EP. One song is an entire EP in itself. So a lot of sections, a lot of different variations and different lot of technical things here and there, and things that we're still working on. Now that things have opened up a bit more in the city with the lockdown and restrictions being lifted and in phases, I think
Mm-hmm.
now is we will start jamming more often.
Mm-hmm.
We finally get to like sit together and continue writing our stuff, and record and record our stuff basically. Everything, drums, guitar, and the idea again is to do the whole thing in house,
Mm-hmm.
record, mix, and master everything done by the band. Um, this is gonna be
No,
we need like minimum 9 minutes. Get the fuck out. Exactly.
and Nasser is saying the new Winterburn record Gandu.
Yeah, this is the thing about Nas. He's so impatient. I was getting to it. Um,
I love you, Nasser, man.
so yeah. I lost my train of thought. Yeah. So the Portable Mind
Yeah.
EP. The idea will be that we wanna engineer, mix, master the whole thing ourselves, which seems to be on a good track now. Just need to find a time to sit and do it. And last but not the least, the work on the new on releasing the new Winterburn record, which I hopefully should be. I hope sometime end of this year, if not the beginning of next. I'm not sure. This again depends on how situation is
Mm-hmm.
in the scene, not in the scene, I mean in the world of music
Mm-hmm.
and the industry. Uh, but of course, there's a lot of things to releasing an album. Like mine was pretty simple, just record, done, put it up there, make an artwork, boom. But when it's a band
Exactly.
and there's a lot of time and money and effort gone into recording, doing the whole thing.
And so many other
There
people's inputs
so
and
many
yeah.
other exactly, and there has to be a proper plan. There has to be. It's like launching a new product in the market. You know, you need to make a plan for it, like marketing plan and all that other shit. Lots of things. I mean, we're working on it. But yeah, these are the things that I'm looking forward to, man. And to be honest, more than anything else, I look forward to playing live shows again.
Mm-hmm. Which everyone does,
Uh,
man.
which everyone does, and it looks good because now I've heard that they've Dubai has lifted restrictions on live music now. I think you can.
Yeah, but there is some.
There are some restrictions.
Yeah.
But you can have live events. You can
Mm.
have. It's coming back.
Well, let's see how it's
Okay.
gonna sound. I mean, how it's gonna look because it's gonna be weird adapting to that new environment. How, like
Yeah.
how
I seen
things
some
can be.
pictures. I saw some pictures of some festivals happening in that are going to happen in the UK. The setups, so they have the whole same thing. You have your big, massive arena stage, and you have the pit, but
Mm-hmm.
you have little square boxes in which only 4 people are allowed.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's weird. That's completely
yeah,
weird, man.
and it's like four sides of a cage.
Mm-hmm.
So it's weird, but I guess if that's what it takes to get things up and running again.
Yeah,
It
man.
has to, dude. It has to. Otherwise, this industry will die. The musicians will starve. I mean, they're already starving.
Yeah, we know everyone. I
Okay.
mean, we know a lot of them in this scene that
I
it
know,
was.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. This scene, and I know people personally as well outside here, even in the States and the UK, who rely on this. This is their bread and butter. I mean, this is their living.
Mm-hmm.
If they can't play shows or they can't, yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen, man. Doesn't
Well,
look good, but I think things will change.
hopefully, man, we need to stay positive and optimistic about the future. I mean, nothing gonna stay and remain the same. Nothing
This is
gonna
for sure,
stay.
yeah.
Yeah. So, man, any final words and where they can find you on social media and they can get your album?
Wow, this is like my elevator pitch. Okay.
Elevator pitch.
Elevator pitch, baby. Um, last few words. Okay. Well, first I just want to say thanks, Ahmed, for having me on the show.
You don't need to
Uh,
mention it, man.
really, I was really psyched when you invited me, and I'm super glad we got to catch up for this. And even yesterday,
Mm.
I think we had like an off-screen podcast
Yeah,
that
by
happened yesterday,
itself.
which should have been the actual podcast as well. That was super cool. But anyway, thanks for all the guys who are tuned in. I mean, I can still see there are people tuned into the live feed. I mean, it's
Yeah, man.
awesome, and so many comments, and it's most of them from Nasser, but still counts. Thank you all for hanging out and and checking out this conversation. And like, um, if you like the music that you heard today, that Ahmed played on the show, uh, feel free to go on my Instagram page. It's Vivian Edward Dsouza. You'll see the link in the descriptions later, or in my Facebook page, or you can find me on Bandcamp. I think that would be the best place if you want to purchase the album, or your regular Spotify, Tidal, Deezer, where I don't get paid shit, so you can just listen to it for free for the rest of your life. So feel free. Yeah, that's all I have to say. I hope you guys enjoy the EP, and just keep supporting your musicians, friends that you know, and local musicians, or whoever it is, anyone who you know who's a musician and who's doing this out of passion, and who put in the time and effort and energy to make something and put it out there. Be nice, support them. It'll cost you maybe a few dollars. It won't make you any poor, but it'll mean the world to them, that you purchase it and you appreciate them and you support them. So this is really important. Like, musicians, as being friends of musicians, you need to support them. Okay, not just saying that I support you and do a Facebook post about it or an Instagram post. Do something for them. Give them a shout out. Buy their album. Talk to people about their album and keep the conversation going about it. So yeah.
And Ashish is
That's
saying,
all.
great interview, Ahmed and Vivian. It was great hanging out. Love you guys, dude. Thank you very much for sticking out.
Thanks, man.
And dropping by. It's been a while since I met you, Ashish, and sadly enough, I didn't have the chance to meet you before you leave, man. But I hope all the good, all the best for you, man. Stay healthy and stay safe. Say hi to your wifey. And Nasser, thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much to whoever tuned in. You guys don't understand how much this means to us, me and Vivian, and this scene
True.
that we have, man. It's like this much of, how to say it, like, it's just a very, it's like, I cannot even put it in words. It's a huge ass fucking tidal of emotion that it really, it means the world. It means the world to me. That's how I can put it in words, man. Thank you very much, guys, for sticking around. I know, dude, we are over 3 hours. That's like the longest episode I ever had, man.
Shit.
So
Really?
you are the first guy, man. Congrats to you. Vivian Dsouza is the first guy who
Cool.
did a 3 hours session, and which I had
Awesome.
fun, man. It's exactly
Fun, yeah.
exactly like we had fun catching up. It's been a while. Like there's
We
so
should do this again. There's a lot of things we haven't spoken about.
yeah, man. For sure we're gonna get Nasser on board as well. Let's see that
Yeah,
guy.
let's have a three-way.
Yeah, that's what she
Let's
said.
get more specific about things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and Vinit is saying great session, guys. Catch you soon. Yeah, man. Thank you very much, Vinit, for stopping by. And Vivian, thank you very much for joining me for this session, man. It means, dude, I had a blast talking to you. It's like, it's just
Thank you, dude.
crazy stuff, man. We could have gone for more, man. We could talk a lot more. But man, I hope I covered as much as I could, and we touched on a lot of sensitive stuff that we tried, to explain in a very diplomatic way. That there is some changes need to be happening. So
Yeah.
it's
And
good.
again, I just want to say that we spoke about these things to whoever listened to it and whoever will listen to this. It's not out of spite, or it's not out of hate
Exactly.
or anything. It's
Exactly.
just to shed some light on it. Like, someone has to talk about it, because it affects all of us. It affects the organizers, the musicians, the supporters. It affects the whole scene. So this is why it's important to talk about these things,
Exactly,
right?
man.
And important to be specific about these things. Okay. And I'm happy to talk about this in person with the people who we spoke about as well,
Exactly.
to great lengths. It's okay. I'm feel free. Give me a call.
We should.
Or
It should not be a
follow me on Instagram.
it should not. It should not be a personal thing. They need to
Yeah,
understand that this is
exactly.
for a cause, and this is the cause
It's for
for all of
everyone.
us. Yeah, it's gonna help everyone in this scene. Not only the metalheads, not only us. It can help benefit everyone.
Yeah.
So, man, thank you very much again for joining in. Thank you very much, guys, for tuning in, man. Just a last time shout out to Gamers Lounge Dubai that they're doing a giveaway of a Watchdog PS4 controller with collaboration with Void controllers. Go down to Gamers Lounge Dubai Facebook page, the group, and just go and enter the competition, tag a friend, give them a like on IG and Facebook, and do the drill. And best of luck to you. And in case if you want to get an illustration like the one you've seen in the beginning of the show, please contact Bundlehead. He's the guy behind the illustration. He's the reason I'm, all this help is from his side. So, he's another talent from this scene, and you guys can help out. Just reach out to him, see his stuff, just see his stuff. Give him a like, give him a shout out that you came from Convos and Chill. And Vivian, thank you very much again, man. And I'll see you soon. Hopefully we can, catch up in Moto for coffee, and we can have much more detailed chat about this thing.
I can't believe I forgot to say the big shout out to Marco from Moto. I love that place.
Man, that
all
place
of you should
is
go
awesome.
check it out if you haven't already.
For sure.
Yeah,
man,
but we will.
sure.
Let's catch up over there soon.
For sure, man. Anyway, guys, I'll catch you guys soon, and have a good night. I'll see you guys on the flip side.